Hello everyone and welcome to round 11 of the SRL-100 Season 2. We're at the Japanese Grand Prix today. I'm Crab, your host for this evening, race director and commentator for the Syndicate Racing League. Let's take a look at the standings before we jump into the lobby. 17 seconds until they jump in. And so in the drivers, it's Struggs leading the way. He could wrap up the championship today. I'll get into the permutations later on about that. Fade is the only person who could snatch it off him. With 120, so there's some weird permutations. 128 points. OS Degrees, he's in third. Good race weekend last weekend, second at Singapore. AJ Sinden, he is in fourth. Decent weekend for him. His Tango is in fifth in the championship. For the constructors, that's already been wrapped up. So that was wrapped up last weekend. Congratulations to the Williams boys, but it's all to fight for second, third and fourth position and below. Ferrari in second position. Aston Martin, great weekend last weekend. They got up to third. Red Bull, they're up to fourth position. And Alfa Romeo in fifth. So, if we jump into the commentary scene, we're at Suzuka today. I'll get into some of the permutations for the championship. So Struggs can win today if he outscores Fade by 2 points. So effectively, Fade needs to win. Struggs needs to retire. That's the only way that this championship won't be wrapped up today. So a bit less complicated than in real life, where we had like half points, etc., etc. I think if it goes to anything other than full points today, it's over. So yes, that is that. Well, no, maybe it isn't. But anyway, let's not get into that because it's not going to happen. We're going to do a lot better fist of this than than they did in the real world, where we didn't know who'd won or not, which was a complete nightmare. But we have all the drivers in the pits at the moment. We have Alfa Romeo leaving the pits, so let's go on board with that. Let's get some of our telemetry, etc., set up correctly. Who was first to leave the pits? It looked like an Alfa Romeo to me, but the let's have a look. Temp possibly out on lap out first as he comes through the first corner and heads to the S's for the first time. This historic circuit of Suzuka in Japan, coastal bound. And let's have a look if there's any chance of rain. Not for these next two sessions at least. I'll keep you posted through the qualifying sessions for that. But Temp, he had a good race last weekend. It was a good recovery race. He ended up going backwards at the start and climbed back to sixth position well over the final few laps. So a good race. Kind of went under the radar last weekend as he comes through Kobayashi hairpin. That's what I'll be calling that this weekend in honour of Kayumi Kobayashi, who made some brilliant overtakes there during his stint in F1 from 2009 to the back end of 2009 to 2013. 2014 maybe in the Caterham actually, maybe his final year. As we go through Spoon for the first time in the Alfa Romeo, we have Denner Paul, he's just behind, also going through Spoon. But this is just Q1, so the three cars that we'll see leave and go back into pits should be Fence, Wool and McLeod. They are all serving a qualifying ban, and of course Geordie is doing a race ban this week because he's gone over 50 points of penalties. As we build up and cut the timing beam for the first time and head down to turn one. Flat out, and you've got to throw it in to the first part of this corner before braking and try to cheat the apexes with a maximum respect around here. So easy to lose it through the S's of turn 3 and 4 and using a lot of curbs. You can use a lot more curbs in this game than you could in F1 2021. That's one thing for sure. As he comes to the final corner in the S's and builds into the Dunlop curve and heads to Degner 1 and Degner 2 for the first time. The double right-hander, throw it in for the first part. And down, dipping down underneath the figure of 8 circuit, the only figure of 8 circuit on the calendar this year. At all. I don't know another figure of 8 circuit. There will be one. As he comes out of Kobayashi hairpin, a very, very tricky traction zone. And then it's a run up to Spoon, where Sainz crashed today in the wet, aquaplaning across a river in the race. Probably should have started. Head into Spoon is such a tricky area. It's so easy to run wide and crucial for the run down to 130R the now flat-out corner in modern-day F1 cars, but a real challenge, a tricky zone. If you go off here, it's always a big one. And we head to Casio chicane. The right-left, where Prost and Senna famously came together, and heads down to cut the timing beam. Where would it put him? A 130 would be a good lap here, and a 130.3 is a very good lap. So Fent has retired, McLeod has retired. We're just looking for one more to retire. I believe it's Wool. Fade dead in the pool. He gets a 130.8. That's another good lap for the Alfa Romeos. It could be enough to go through already to Q2, as we have a Red Bull leaving the pits and doing well at getting out of the way. Who else is next to go over the line? We have Matusas. He's got a 131. Struggs, he's got a 129.9, already down into the 129s. And we have Mr. Borbagri, he'll be coming around to set a lap. Will he? Yep, he's just starting an out lap now. We have Geordie, or is it Gaz, MC, coming around the final corner. The last corner. The last curve, is it called? 133.5, so he must have made a mistake on that lap. We have car just behind. He's starting a lap. I believe it must have been Fade, and it is Fade. So let's keep an eye out for his times. Chonk is coming to 130R. And we'll ride off board to watch him throw it in. Majestically not desyncing at the moment. Not that I'm salty. He comes through Casio and heads down this tricky traction zone all the way down through the final corner. And it's a 131.8, so he'll need to go faster. AJ Sinden, he's had a 131.1. Is this Captain Rainbow Fox coming through the final corner? It is. Captain Rainbow Fox coming through the final corner. It's been a 114 something. Middle sector 131.3, so that's enough for 6th position. What happened to Joker? That's a good call. I always miss... I wish it told me that people have crashed out. Joker, what happened to you? I've completely missed it while trying to commentate. It's because yellow flags happen all the time. You just ignore them in my head. So AJ Sinden, it must be Blubber Bump coming up for an outlap here. And we have... yes, Blubber Bump. And then Fade coming through the middle sector up to Spoon. He's lost the front wing, so he's had it off. Fade has had it off, certainly. So he won't be setting fast time here. Gaz MC's put a 133.6 in. Skulder Bull a 132.8. Return to racing in the SRL-100 for Skulder Bull after not being part of racing last weekend. An SRL-50 racer. We'll talk about the reserves just when there's a bit of a lull in the traffic, and actually Skulder Bull's gone off this lap, so he won't be improving. George in for Louis, or Rugriff again. Both of those drivers are off this week, so let's say George is in for Louis, and Ganja is in for Rugriff. And I'll get that muddled up halfway through the race. So Matusa's saying he spun at the S's, so Joker spun at the S's and is out of qualifying, so there's only one place that someone could get knocked down to. So this could be a thriller, and by thriller I mean not a thriller at all. Just one place that could knock people down. And Fade, he's returned to the pits after having a bit of a crash. Tempe with some demon faces. No idea what that means, but you've probably done enough, Tempe. With a 130.382. Enough for 2nd position. Denonpool just behind. Looks like Alfa Romeo have a good lot of pace. And as Chonk said before the race, despite them being unequal, the Alfa Romeo is the best car around here, which makes little to no sense. And Chonk goes over 203. What the fuck was that helmet? Which helmet? Which helmet? Was it? I don't even know what was on. George? Was that a fish? It could have been a fish. Do you know what I mean? There's a bloody OS Degrees has got a fish helmet. It's got the koi helmet. That's disgusting. And he starts his outlap. Let's ride on board with the Scarlet Ferrari of OS Degrees, still sporting that 75th anniversary livery. That will go out the game, I think, tomorrow. Nothing wrong with the fish helmet. Incorrect, fence. The death penalty is what you get for having the fish helmet. OS Degrees going through these S's. It's really magical to watch a car on board. I have to agree, Sebastian Vettel is the best track on the calendar. So fantastic to drive, and OS Degrees probably doesn't think so right now, facing the wrong way. He has a lot of time for cars to come, but he's doing a good job of clearing the way, and we'll just stay on board and make sure that he gets out of the way for this Haas nicely. He does. Fair enough. Koi helmet over goldfish helmet. I'd agree with that. The koi helmet is better than the goldfish helmet, but that's like saying I'd rather drink a glass of piss than eat a plate of shit. So neither are preferable. Ganja, he's got a 131.158, good pace from the Aston Martin reserve driver this weekend. So Ganja in for the Aston Martin of Louis, George in for the Aston Martin of Rugriff. We have Gaz MC, he's in for Alex Trent G. Skull the Bull, he's in for Geordie. And finally, we have George in for someone. Where's George? George. It's a good thing I'm the one who selects these, because I can't remember. George. Oh, George is in for Aston Martin. There's another one. Blubberbump. Blubberbump is in for his Tango. He's had difficulties connecting his wheel last minute. So he's in the Red Bull this weekend, partnering with AJS Inden. But we have two teams completely replaced. IBN, he must be on a lap, right? IBN's got a set of time. And we have, who's just gone over the line? Must be no degrees. I think he's just put a lap time in and probably going to build up to another lap. As we have Ganja coming into the pits. And he's going to go through the SS. Let's ride on board again with OS Degrees and watch him spin out again. Hopefully not. So it was just around exit of the S's, this Dunlop curve, that he suffered his spin last time, and he's done okay around here. So into Degner 1 and Degner 2, named after Ernst Degner, the motorbike rider who had the first ever crash at Suzuka back in 1962. And up to Kobayashi corner. Throws it in, down to first gear, an unorthodox, I would say don't need to go that low on the gears, and actually quite a tight line through there. Is there meant to be no game audio? There isn't meant to be no game audio. Thank you for saying. Let me see in the settings. Right, okay, yep, I see why. There should be game audio now. Let me know if there's game audio. You should be able to hear the beautiful Ferrari, which sounds like a vacuum cleaner. As OS Degrees comes through 130R flat out. Going very wide through there. Probably a little bit of time to be found there, but it says the fastest middle sector. Right, okay, there is now audio. Yeah, it's because OBS has this like monitor but mute option, and if you select that, it's awful. But yeah, thanks. I appreciate you pointing that out to me. We have just one car in the drop zone, and that's the Aston Martin of George. So George has a bit of decent pace around here. 8 tenths up already. And we have 6 minutes and 45 seconds left in this session, qualifying 1. To find out who the bottom 5 will be and head to Q2. Dry conditions certainly for this first session and the next session. I don't know if anyone can see if there's wet conditions for the race. If you check the weather, someone that's retired maybe will let us know. As he comes through Casio. Got to use as much curb as possible, and he returns to the pit, so opts out of that lap. It's all dry, so it's a dry weekend. We've had another dry weekend. Something's fishy, mate. Something's fishy. All of our time trials are wet. All of our league races are dry. I mean, I think the last wet race was probably when Matusas won at Australia. Correct me if I'm wrong. We may have had a wet qualifying since then. Yeah, Matusas saying I need a wet race to win again. Certainly, absolutely. Who is out on track? OS Degrees. He's returning to pits. He got a 139, so he got up to 5th position. So that should be enough to get him through. I was predicting cut-off to be a 131.5 around here, but I think because we've had quite a few cars had to retire, it may be looking around a 132 for the cut-off. But Kev has retired. He thinks he's done enough. Blubberbump has retired. He thinks he's done enough. He's in 15th position. Does he realise that George... So basically, everyone above Blubberbump can retire. Yeah? Because there's only one player left. I think Blubberbump has miscalculated here. Much, it happens to the best of us. Let's look at the FIA and everyone miscalculating today what a fucking rule is. Blubberbump crashed. Right, okay. That would make sense. Right, okay. So Blubberbump has DNF. So George just needs to go set a lap time in. And read chat. Where's chat? Yeah, well, I've read chat now because it's come up. So George is a 1:33.2. He needs to find 2 seconds here, actually, to go ahead of Blubberbump. But Blubberbump won't be going through to the next session. But everyone above him can retire. Everyone above Blubberbump can retire now, because that would be 5 cars dropped out of this session. Maybe not actually, no. Kev maybe shouldn't have retired, unless Kev has DNF. Because he is slower than a 1:31.2. Actually, yeah, Kev shouldn't have retired. Kev's at risk still. Because if George improves, then it will be Kev knocked out. Unless Kev also crashed. In which case, it doesn't matter. Yes, I really dislike how it drops the car into 15th position. Like, if their time is good enough to get... I hate how it does that with the timetable, because then you've got the times out of sync and it's really hard to read. Kev is actually the driver at risk here in this session of falling out. Blubberbump is... going to be starting 15th either way at this point. So fence life somehow is Chonk's fault. Joker spun and then Ben didn't see him in time and they had a collision. Okay, so right, okay. So is Ben still part of this session? He's IBN. So he's still part of the session, so he hasn't crashed out. So that's what's happened to those two. We can have a look. See if anything comes up. George on a lap now. This is to see him through to Q2. He needs to find only a second. 8 attempts he needs to find to Kev to knock Kev out of this session. Ignore Blubberbump. He's out either way. So Kev, he's at risk here. So Blubberbump saying his controller disconnected and I straight lined into a wall, which is not the optimum line through any corner around here. I can tell you that for free. As George dives into Kobayashi corner and Tricky on the attraction out of here. I think he's running maybe medium TC. Oh, George is wearing the fish helmet. Oh, this is disgraceful. Do you know what? I was sort of hoping you'd get through, George, but now I'm glad you run wide there. I'm glad you ran wide. That's the spite I have for the fish helmet. Thanks for the first time comment, Blubberbump. You can sub to us. I don't know why you do that. You'd get nothing from it. But if you've got Twitch Prime and you want to sub to us instead of someone who may actually give you something for subbing, then that's your fault for doing that. But George is going into the pits. I think he's done. I think he doesn't have enough time to go out. So, George, that's what happens when you wear the fish helmet. You have bad luck happen to you. So, unlucky, pal. Fence knows about this. Fence actually disconnects every race because he has the fish helmet. Not any other reason than that. It's just a bad luck charm. So, that is it for this session. Cars in the pits, they can retire. And we can move this on quicker. There's no sub button. There's no sub button. Why is there no sub button? I've been told I'm an affiliate. I don't understand Twitch. You'll be able to sub to me at some point in the future. I have no idea how you'd enable that. Maybe I'll have a look during the start of the next session. It gives you extra 30 miles per hour into the wall, maybe, Fence, you get from the fish helmet. But thanks for the follow. I think that was OS Degrees. Appreciate that. No, it wasn't OS Degrees. Who was it? Blubberbump. I can find out. It was Blubberbump. OS Degrees, of course, already followed. So, if you're liking the stream, tell a friend about the server. We have our Discord links just below. I like how the Ferris wheel spins. Just little note, like nice little detail. It's probably something they could have done in 2010 and earlier. I don't think it did in those early games though. So nice bit of environmental effects. Description under live stream isn't showing anything. I don't know if it's supposed to. Okay. The panel in the description under the live stream. What? The panel under the description in the live stream. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm just gonna get the results. We need to apply for affiliate. but it told me that it said the road to affiliate was complete, and now they're changing the rules. Okay, so Blubberbump in 15th, 16th for George, 17th for Fence, 18th for Joker, McLeod in the Mercedes, he's in 19th, Wool is in 20th, Fridays Cars, of course, having to retire from the session. And let's just have a quick scroll through here, just for the sake of it. We can see what incidents happened, and I will quickly clip that. Then we can get that. You'll be able to sub to us in the future, if you'd want to. I strongly suggest you don't. So, excellent. Right. Okay. Let's get the old webcam on in a second. There's an application for it because people cannot follow us. So people can't bot follow us. Damn, they don't know how good of a bot I was on RuneScape. So this is something I promised for AJ. There you are. There's my special hat for tonight. I have no idea what the sound quality is like, so I'm going to remove that straight away. A little bit of cosplay for you. Fair percentage of viewers are bots. Why shouldn't they be able to follow and subscribe to? That's so true, Rogue Trent. This is anti-bot. And you know, Elon Musk is against them. Jagex are against them. Twitch are now against them. Let's fight for bots' rights. Do you know what I mean? I played Detroit Become Human. I'm well versed on the subject. So, away from the shenanigans, let's go back. Who's first on track? Oh, it's Strugs. I always like to go on board with Strugs. Let's see what kind of things he's doing around the track. Love to see the purple helmet has a chance of winning the championship this weekend. Season 2 of the SRL could be wrapped up with 3 races remaining afterwards, but he has to win, has to score points basically, has to score higher, I think 8th position, higher than 8th position. But as he comes to the first corner, turn 1, and tightens into turn 2, tightens, and into the S's. He goes into 3, then 4, gingerly on the power, and just trying to crest it through each corner. As we come out the S's around the Dunlop curve, you don't want to run too wide there, that unsettles the back end. You can go absolutely anyway as he throws it into Degner. Little bit down, just caressing it in quite gingerly, I would say, through there. He's not absolutely chucking it in, but who knows, it could be a very good lap. As it comes to Kobayashi corner, the hairpin, where Kobayashi made so many amazing overtakes back in, I think it was the 2011 Grand Prix, 2012 Grand Prix, possibly. As he comes to spoon the double left-hander of 13 and 14, using every bit of the runoff and trying to just turn it in and line up and pull as much traction as you go down this main straight towards the back straight, even towards 130R, crossing over the tunnel that you cross in sector 2, the start of sector 2, and attacking Cassia. You've got to use as much of that curve as you can, just leaving a wheel on the tracks. Perfectly done. What kind of time is this going to be? A 1:29? It's a 1:32, so not as good as his first qualifying session time, and I think Strugs will know he can go faster than that. Dead in the pool, he's got a 1:31.2. Fade, he's in Matusas. I get there in the end. He's got a 1:38. We have AJS Inden, he's coming around, and that's a 1:30.5, so that's a good time for AJS Inden. We have Chonk coming through the final corner. U set for James. Good information, thanks for that, Keji. It's a U set for James, so that would make sense. Is there a way I can tell? Let's have a check. tyre, 1 lap. No, there's no way I can tell, so I appreciate you telling me that, Kitch. Someone's just retired. Skull the Pool has retired. He's crashed at Degner 2. Let's go on board with OS Degrees, perhaps. Is he coming to it? No, it must be Captain Rainbow Fox, but we're going to be going past the incident already. No, it's someone else. Degner Pool, must have been. But that's been cleared. So, Skull the Pool, he's crashed out. The thing is, I can't tell the difference in the colour between Alfa Romeo and... I can, if I really look at it. There we are. I can if I really look at it. There's Alfa Romeo going through Spoon and Degner 2. And, of course, Fox coming into the pits. He's had to abort a lap. Probably make a mistake. As we have another yellow and Degner 2. I think that's Chonk going slowly, getting out way for another car. That must be Gather MC. He'll be on a lap. If you read this Chonk, why is your helmet orange? Chonk, why is your helmet orange? I've announced it now. It's because he's theming it around his little disconnection bar that appears in the top left-hand corner. So it's just good to match it. I mean, get a colour theme going. So Rainbow Fox in the pits. We have AJ Sinton. He's coming to the pits as well. Around the final corner. Well, the final section of corner, Gaz MC comes in. There's a yellow flag through here. I think that was possibly OS Degrees getting out of the way. And, almost losing it under traction a little bit. Squirrely. And this 130.9, that's enough for 5th position for Gaz MC in the McLaren. I don't know, it just feels like such a fun qualifying session. I don't know, I just like watching cars going around here. But Ganja, he's on an outlap. And one of the cars on an outlap. OS Degrees, he's coming to Degner 1. And Degner 2. So I think Struggs would be happy with 132 at this point. I predicted cut-off to be a 130.5 for Q3, the top 10 shootout. Obviously only 4 cars will get knocked out in the session after, well, 3 cars actually, because Skull the Bull's confirmed out. Blubber Bump, he's out in 15th position. Because he didn't make it through, he had a crash last session. Even though he had a good enough time for qualifying 2. And OS Degrees, is he pushing? There's a lot of EOS left, he must have turned his EOS off. There seems to be an incident at the hairpin. Possibly a car getting out of the way at the hairpin. IBN, is he on a lap? I don't think he is, I don't think there's anyone on the lap. Possibly Ganja has just started actually, so let's ride on board with Ganja, the younger brother of Struggs, who's reserving for Louis this weekend. One of the first to get their name down for a seat. And he spins. He spins there. He's got plenty of time to spin the car around, but he's going to have to be careful. He can just select reverse gear though and gingerly do it. It's a good job. Sometimes you go try and do a reverse spin around the track, it disqualifies you, especially at corners such as Dunlop. So Ganja will have to go and set another line time. Captain Rainbow Fox, he's winding up for a lap, wearing a blue and purple and blue helmet this weekend. As he comes to the first corner at this Honda-owned circuit. You see the Honda advertising boardings absolutely everywhere here. And good weather conditions this weekend as we come through the S's. So nice that you can touch those curves, but really wide through there. Not the optimum line. So, not a perfect first sector here. Crab fuel mode is on easy, by the way. Okay, thanks for telling us, Fence. AJ, we need to sort of some of the settings are off. Okay, we can bank that. I'm sure AJ will watch this back. So, thanks for telling us, Fence. Fuel mode is on easy. Don't exploit that. If anyone exploits that, I'm murdering them. And I'm not actually going to murder them, just in case they suddenly die. That gets you off. If you threaten to kill someone and then they die, what you got to do is you got to just beforehand say, "Oh, I'm not really going to do it." He just gets you off all sorts. It's like Ted Bundy went around for years with that one. So Chonk is coming through Spoon, and he isn't on a lap, but Captain Rainbow Fox is. It says fastest middle sector, but that will be his fastest middle sector because this game is good. As he comes to Casio, we'll ride on board, see how much of the curbs he takes. Not too much. And we saw him go quite wide through the first sector, so maybe a 131 here for Fox. That's enough to put him up into 11th position. He'll have to go again if he wants to be part of the top 10 shootout. Mr. Paul Baggery in the pits. Ganja also in the drop zone. He's in the pits too, and Skull the Bull out of the session, crashing at Degner too. OS Degrees, Chonk's on the bubble. OS Degrees. I feel like everyone below Gaz MC will have to run again. I'm wearing orange and black because it's October and it's fall. So, Chonk, you want to be called a pumpkin. With some Creole, I don't know what Creole means, Rogue. Sorry. So, also I've been on an 8-lap scrub set of softs. Chonk, a 137. Scrub set of softs, so he can go quicker. Is that what we're saying? He can go quicker as long as his controller doesn't freak out again. Captain Rainbow Fox in 11th position. I think he's coming into the box because we saw him do a lap last time. Mr. Paul Baggery, he's on an outlap. Ganja also on an outlap. We saw him spin through the Dunlop curve last time around. Gaz MC's retired. He's took my advice. He heard me. I said everyone below him should go out. Everyone above him shouldn't. Now, I will feel bad if Gaz MC is knocked out into Q10, but I think it's unlikely that we'll see that much track evolution. It'd be just under a second that some people will have to go quicker. Chonk obviously could go quicker. He's on a scrub set of softs. I mean, Stugs putting a 132 on a scrub set of softs is just disrespectful, to be honest. I think we should force him to use hard tyre, even though I'm pretty sure you can't use anything other than softs in these qualifying sessions. Back to the game being ultra realistic. As we see Ganja come and throw his car into Creole as a blend of spices, chili powder, Cajun seasoning, etc. Okay, is that how you say it? Is that his Creole or Sriel? Or no, that would be right. It's Creole. Tempe saying I was on a scrub set too. Get your pacer. So Temp on a 137. That's on a scrub set of softs. Again, disrespectful to be that quick. There's a car out of there. No, there's a car that spun. Must be Captain Rainbow Fox. No, OS Degrees spun at Spoon, or maybe just going slowly and warming up his tyres. Either way, we've got 3 minutes and 20 seconds left in this session as Ganja navigates Dunlop curve span just before here last time round, so he's made it around. As he heads towards Degner 2, throws it in, spots your braking marks, down into third gear, fourth gear for that corner. Fence retired from the session. He feels like... How's Fence retired from the session? Oh no, it must be Fade. Fade is retired from the session. And into second, third gear, tricky traction zone here. Creole. So, yeah, right, okay. We'll agree on that. If that's not how you say it, then that's how you say it henceforth. Ganja coming to Spoon. Such a tricky corner. Just feels like you can never get it turned in and uses a bit too much curb there. That really unsettles the rear of the Aston Martin car here and will cost him time all the way down the straight. He won't have time to go back into the pits. Looks like his fuel light is flashing as well, so I think this will be potentially his last chance at getting a good lap time here. Can he do enough to get into Q10? He misses the apex of the first part of that hairpin turn 16 apparently, and he gets a 131.8, so just not enough. Fade is retired. He's in 10th position. Has he crashed? Fade must have crashed out. I don't believe Fade. So Fade, he needs a race win this weekend to keep his championship alive. I know he's, resigned to losing that at this point, but, if there's any chance of keeping his championship alive, then he needs to win every single race left. And that is not how you win a race, by starting in 10th. Well, not the optimum strategy anyway. Kimi Räikkönen obviously starting from 17th place in 2005 here. Came through and won the race on the penultimate lap, taking it away from Giancarlo Fisichella. Was it? Or was it... Ooh, it could have been Truly. It was 2005. And Ganja's into the wall. It must have been Fisichella. Truly's final year was in the Renault was 2004, I believe. So Ganja's, I think, out of the session. Fox is one of the cars that could cause danger. Mr. Paul Baggery too. Let's ride on board with Mr. Paul Baggery, who's on a lap right now, and we should see he needs at least 2 seconds worth of improvement. Captain Rainbow Fox could put Fade in danger here. Lol to Dale. Dale being Gandra, of course, the Aston Martin racer, younger brother of Struggs. I mean, same surname, which is Struggs. And actually, Gandra told me that Struggs was originally his account. So, Struggs, if you concede position. And Kev just mocks up Spoon there, so he's out of this session. 13th place, possibly where the fastest he can go. Maybe able to have time for another lap here, but he hasn't got the fuel load. So into Spoon Fox goes. What can he do? Doesn't seem mega confident around Spoons, but a lot more stable through that tricky traction zone. Heading down the hill and up the hill to cross over the track and into 130 yard goes the Scarlet Ferrari of Captain Rainbow Fox. As we speed a spark flying out the back end as he heads to Casio. And he takes a lot more of the curb this time around, at least on the first part, but again, squirrely on traction. Is this enough to go put himself into Q? Oh, it's not. So only 11th for him. And that's it, 11th for Rainbow Fox. Gandra is being knocked out in 12th. Kevin out in 13th. That's Mr. Ball Baggery, that is, in the Haas. And Skull the Bull crashing out early doors in the session. Blubber Bump not making it through. Well, made it through to the session, but damaged his car terminally in the previous session. Struggs and Nega Struggs. That sounds really bad. That's not what I said. Struggs and NEGA Struggs is how it works in my mind. Okay, let's just move on from that. So, I will make sure to clip this. Let me just disable my webcam at the moment so it doesn't get in the way. I don't understand it either, Keji. I don't understand it either. But we have Chonk. He's gone and put in a 136, has Chonk. So Chonk has improved his time. But not faster than Struggs, who's on a scrub set. Not faster than Temp, who... Well, only just faster than Temp. Negative/inverse. Alex Trent coming out with the facts today in chat. Educational. If that counts as education. We have Chonk in the pits. Cars returning to the pits. That's Captain Rainbow Fox. Oh no, Earth Degrees. No, who is returning to the pits? Why is there two cars out there? Earth Degrees, he's took the red flag. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. This game sometimes confuses me. Rogue Trent, I was probably an E student, so if I can take your D's and turn them into C's somewhere else. Okay, so Fade in 10th position. He's out. He's crashed out. So that was a DNF. 11th position, Captain Rainbow Fox. Ganja in 12th position. Mr. Ball Baggery in 13th position. Skull the Bull in 14th position. And Blubberbump in 15th, of course, after his incident in the original qualifying session of qualifying 1, that is. And we'll have a quick look at those two. You can take what? I don't understand. You can take what? Oh. I can take whatever you want, pal. I can take it. It's not just me and Fox. Okay. So let's see if anything's been said. As we go into the final qualifying session. Anything being said in league discussion, etc. Let's have a quick look. Been a bit said. So Fade said he was losing the back end every corner before he crashed out. No, after he crashed out. This ain't happening yet. I'm literally losing the rear every corner. So he hasn't played the game since Singapore, is what Fade's saying. So Scoldable saying he finishes P2. That's what he's predicting. Chonk says AO. Matu says he made it worse. Yeah, I'm just confused at this point. So let's just move on to qualifying 3. Shambles. AJ Sinden. Let's ride on board with him. Let's see what kind of track he can put in, wearing his Singapore Japanese tribute helmet. I don't know if it's a tribute. That's the right word. Special helmet for the Singapore and Japanese Grand Prix with the red flashes on the white. The white kind of canvas, let's say. As he winds up for his qualifying lap. I hate how the telemetry is disabled between each session. That's really frustrating. A great shot of the run-up from Degner 2. And just before 130R, crossing over the track there with the hairpin in the foreground. As AJ Sinden heads to Spoon. And out of Spoon, just preparing his tyres. He'll just be focused on the lap at hand. Warming up his tyres. We have Struggs. Okay, we'll go on board with Struggs actually. Struggs is the first car. No, actually, let's check. AJ Sinden. We'll go on board with AJ Sinden because I'm sure we can cut back to Struggs towards the end of the lap, see what it is. IBN has a Q3 appearance. Yeah, good job from the AlphaTauri driver. Nice to see one of the AlphaTauris doing well. I'm joking, Fence. Of course, you had to take your qualifying ban. So, AJ Sinden into turn 1. Throws it in. Hugs that inside curve. There's a yellow. I think that's just cars slowing down, preparing for the lap. Fence says because I'm his race engineer. Maybe you find your calling. And oh, AJ Sinden, no, has a big moment there. Big moment through the S's. Let's just watch him rejoin the track. Is it safe? I think he's found a nice traffic, a bit of gap there. But Struggs has gone through the first sector, 132.6 through the first sector. And through sector 2, he's still on the lap, still pushing out of the hairpin. This long right-hand curve, turn 12, on the run up to turn 13, the start of Spoon. This left-hander, and he uses a lot of curb there, nice to see, and just flirting with the curb. Using as much of the runoff as possible, quickly up through the gears. And scrub or fresh set Keji. Yeah, that's a good point. Struggs with the purple helmet, of course. Lest we forget Keji. And these are a fresh pair. So this should be... If this isn't a 126, then what the fuck is it? It'll be a 129, right? 129. Surely you can't do a 128. Oh my god. Okay, 129.6. So that's a good time. I think that's a good banker time. I think he's got more pace than that. I think he could go faster. AJ Sinden, of course, having an incident on his lap, so he'll be either going for another one or diving back into pits. But Tusas coming over the line, that's a 130.681. So a second off the pace of Struggs. We have Chonk coming down the final corner. What can he do? Is this going to be good enough for a good position? 131.1, he can go faster than that, but maybe on a scrub set, as it was OS Degrees on a 132. And Gaz MC, where does he put his car? He puts up his car to a 130.1. Dead in the pool, he crosses the line. Temp. So that's a 129.897. So a good lap from him there. And IBN, he's on a lap coming through the final corner now. 113.4 through the middle sector. Is this going to put him up high? Yeah, 5th position. Good lap there. 136 from IBN. And Den in the pool, he's coming around the final corner now, but slow lap. Maybe this is an outlap. Maybe it's a... Must be an outlap, right? Must be an outlap. But we can ride on board with Den in the pool. I don't think AJ Sinden... Oh, AJ Sinden is going for another lap, actually. So let's go on board with AJ Sinden. He did have enough fuel for 2 laps. So won't be the absolute best because his softs will have taken it out. But there's a 150 on his original lap with that spin at the S's. The Red Bull driver looking for a good weekend, looking to try and make progress on that 3rd position in the championship with only a handful of races to go. And, if the race finished like this, Struggs would take the championship. To be honest, Struggs could finish as low as 8th and take the championship this weekend, no matter where Fade finishes. But he comes out of the final corner. This looks like it's going to be a fast lap, a 130.313 on second lap old softs. That's a good time from AJ Sinden. Certainly has a bit more time. Probably we're looking for a high 129, low 130. Once all things are considered, probably takes about 4 attempts of life doing an extra lap on these softs. I've certainly passed their best when he put the lap in. And IBN curving around the final corner. He's going to be returning to the pits. Den the pool. He was on a lap, so this is his second lap for him as well. But Denton Poole coming around the final corner. Looks like he's been pushing. I wonder if he's going to pit though. Looks like he's got what does that mechanical thing mean? That means they're coming into pit, right? Anyway, it's a 131.2 for Denton Poole, so that's 9th position. Obviously, Fade, it will start in 10th. This is a top 10 shootout, but Fade crashed out in Q2. And Fade has to do everything to win, but struggling with his setup in the qualifying stages. Hasn't done much practice around here for this weekend. You can tell how serious he's taken this championship fight when he hasn't played all week, because the championship fight is basically all but done at this point. So, Struggs is back on an outlap. Matusas also on an outlap. He's coming through the first sector. AJ Sinden looks to be going again, is he? Or is he... Is this an outlap? No, he's returning to bits. Oh my lord, he takes the cone with him. That was a quick re-entry. But I think, oh my god, did you see that bump in the pit lane? What the flick is that about? That was a huge bump. But okay, I'm going to try and watch a Red Bull go to the pits, because there's like a big bump right before he pits. It's like watching something out of San Andreas. Chonk saying, I've only used 2 sets of tyres. That's good for you, pal. Get good. I've only used 1. Fence with the wheel strapped there. So, Struggs coming round to start a lap. Can he improve on a 129.6? I think he can. I think he's come out straight away knowing he needs to set a faster lap for himself, just avoiding the Ferrari of OS Degrees. Must be OS Degrees. Coming out the pits there. That's there on every pit. I don't know why. Oh, what, that little bump? Is that just a Japan thing, or is that every track thing? I've never seen quite the 4x4ing in the pit lane before at other tracks, or maybe that's Red Bull at every pit. Let us know. So, Struggs is up through the first sector, up by 1.127 of a second. 100th of a second. Is it 100th? A tenth of a second. I'm really bad at those numbers. I'll get good on one day. Japan. So just like that, Japan for every pit stop. Okay, interesting. I'll have a look at that. So Struggs coming to Spoon, attacking this left-hander, using every bit of that outside to open up this corner. Traction down as early as possible for the best possible drive, and we'll come to the second split. There's a yellow through sector 1 and 2. And he comes to the split. He's half a second up. He's half a second up. This is Verstappen-like quality here as he comes to Casio. Uses every bit of track he can. I think he didn't take that final corner quite perfectly. May have just lost a little bit of time there. But it's a 129.3. 3 temps up. I think losing 2 temps through that final sector. This is a Sebastian Vettel lap. Yeah, it was a really, really good lap. With a brief glimpse of a bottle job. From Leclerc at the end with the nowhere near. He just pushed too much through the second part of the first. What is it? The second part of the chicane. There we are. Let's say that. So AJ Sinden, Gaz MC, he's out on track. He's coming to the first corner. Takes that very, very gingerly, comparatively to watching Struggs throw it in there. Tempe's on an outlap. He's got AJ Sinden on an outlap right behind him, so that won't bother him one bit. It's 131.1 for Gaz MC. Can he do anything to catch up with that time in front? Absolutely insurmountable, it seems. And he comes to the second sector split. He's 3 temps up, so this would be enough to take him in front of Temp. But Temp's also on an outlap. You have to expect Temp to improve through the sessions. As there's a yellow flag coming up. I think that's been cleared quickly. Gaz MC coming through the hairpin. Chonk coming to finish a lap, I think, soon. He doesn't look like he's on an outlap. But Gaz MC coming to Spoon. We'll keep an eye on his lap. But Chonk's coming for around the final corner now. That's a 4 minutes. So he's not on a lap. Matusas is on a lap. OS Degrees, he must be on a lap, right? Yeah, OS Degrees is on a lap. So is Denton Poole, presumably. No. OS Degrees. Let's just go on board with him through this final corner. This will be his last chance to get a lap in. And OS Degrees opens up his wing. 132, so improvement, but only slightly. As Gaz MC He's up 2 temps through the first and second sectors, and he goes into second. Only just temp will be on an outlap. AGS Inden looks like he could probably improve too. Chonk on a lap as well. IBN, he's on an outlap, so we'll keep an eye on him. IBN will probably be the last car to get a lap in. And Matusas coming round here. I think this may be an out. No, it's too quick to be an outlap, so maybe he's made a mistake there. He'll be going around one more time, and he's used a bit of deployment. Chonk will be the first car to cross the timing board, not put timing of the cars still running. Struggs obviously already in the pits, saying a 1:29.326. Can anyone match that pace? It's a substantial difference at the moment. Maybe Tempe has the pace around here, but Chonk, where is he? How's he doing through the second sector? He goes, and he is 4 temps up on his pace. That would be keep him in 8th position, but knocking on the door of 7th position here. It's not the best speed from Chonk here, but he'll be hoping for consistency in the race to bring him into line. And Matusas has retired. He's crashed out at the S's. Matusas crashed out at the S's, so that's up in 6th position. Dead in the pool, who's coming around the final corner now. He goes up and does a 1:38, not good enough to improve. That's 9th position. That'll be a disappointment for Dead in the pool. Temp, he gets a 1:29. He doesn't improve his final lap. OS Degrees, he's coming around the final corner too. He's 3 seconds up. This isn't going to improve either. AGS Inden, he's going through the last part of the lap. Gaz MC is going around again. He's on really low fuel. Can he improve? No, he's going to the pit lane. Dramatic. AGS Inden's coming around for 130R. Into the Casio hairpin. That's right on board. And he uses every bit. Oh, and he uses too much there. He uses too much. And I don't know, his sector's way down anyway. So he wasn't on the lap. IBN, where is he? He's plus 2.6 on his lap. So I think that's it. I think that is it. All things figured. IBN's just retired from the session on track, knowing he was the last one there. Fair play, and that is our qualifying order. Struggs takes another pole position and sets himself up perfectly to take the championship this weekend. Great stuff from Struggs. There is our top 9. Of course, Fade, the car in 10th position, who didn't make it through due to a crash. And let's just have a quick flick through the the race director, and I will disable my webcam while we do it. Struggs, Gaz MC, Temp, OS Degrees, AGS Inden, Chonk, IBN, Matusas dead in the pool. Instant. Matusas has terminal damage. Ben got exceeding track limits, but very clean apart from that. So, let me just take a clip of that, just in case we need it for our Ready Up rule infraction. Oh. That was a good qualifying session. I enjoyed that one. Just good to see cars race around here. As I said, just good to see cars race around here. I will quickly jump into the Discord and work out what time the Ready Up will be at. I think it will be Q2 insert. So let's have a look at league discussion. It's at 20:58. So no Ready Ups until then, please. I'm going to take a quick break before the race, but we'll jump back into the standings. I'll leave you a view of the pit lane, and yeah, see you in just a second. So we're just 2 minutes away from the start of round 11, the Grand Prix. 51 laps, 53 laps it is. So let's have a quick look at the standings before we jump in. Switch over to standings. So reminder, Fade has to win today to keep his championships hopes alive, and Struggs finish lower than 8th position and not get a fastest lap. So Fade, fastest lap and the race win would keep him in this. I think race win would be enough, but we'll see if that happens. Struggs probably would have to DNF. Unlikely he's going to be getting 8th or lower for his pace. Williams have took the Constructors' Championships, but this wide open for second place. Ferrari, last year's Constructors, not being able to put up a fight with the Williams boys this week, but still best of the rest. OS Degrees has 108 points. Third in the championship, 79. It's a race one at a bit behind AJ Sinden, so it's a mountain to climb if AJ Sinden did want to take that third place in the standings. But who knows? It's possible. We're only a couple of minutes away from the start of the race, so let's head back to the view of the race. If it's your first time watching, please drop us a follow. And I'll just mention to everyone that the race is about to start in the Discord. Good luck to all our competitors. As the clock ticks on to 58, we'll see the countdown begin. Chog says, let's have a good one, boys. Focusing to Car Valley in the pit lane here. It really is. That was on the qualifying lap. Who's saying that? So yeah, it's strange. We'll try and keep that. As you can see from this view, the kind of divots at each, the kind of how it's cut into the slope. I don't know if it's at all like that in real life. I presume it's not. But strange bit of game design. But at least the Ferris wheel spins at the amusement park, which lies at the entrance to the circuit. You have to walk through that amusement park to reach the track. And we'll have a formation lap first time around, and this will be our chance to have a look at So let's disable that for the start, and let's just have a look at the tyres. So Struggs on that hard to medium strategy, Gaz on the medium to hard strategy. He'll be doing what he did last weekend, but in a McLaren this time around, starting in second position. Great from him. Temp in third position, a great qualifying for him. He'll be going on hard to start in the Alfa Romeo. OS Degrees, he is in fourth position in Scarlet Ferrari, looking to secure that third place in the championship. Who knows, he could even reach the back end of Fade, you know. It's second place isn't a million miles away for OS Degrees. So let's keep an eye on that. Could be a bit like Tottenham finishing third in a two-horse race during the 2015-16 season when Leicester won. AJ Sinden, he's in fifth. Red Bull, in the Red Bull, he's going to be looking to make pressure on OS Degrees in front. Chonk, aggressive as always, on a pair of softs. Let's see what his start of the race is like. Chonk, bold for starting on them softs. Absolutely agree with that, Rogue. IBN, he's on the mediums in the AlphaTauri. And just dropping back a little bit there, so you'd like him to close that gap just a bit more. And a big desync there. So, not sure what's going on there. But Matusas, he's in 8th position. And on the hard tyres, Denderpool, as they come through Spoon, he is in 9th position on the hard tyres. Fade on the hard tyres too. He needs to win the race to keep the championship alive. He has a lot to do from there, but we'll see how the opening laps form out. Captain Rainbow Fox in 11th position on the hards. Ganja filling in for Louis Rives this weekend. He is on the hards of the Aston Martin. Mr. Borbago, a good qualifying session for him. He's in 13th on the medium tyres. He'll be faster at the start of this race. Scullal Bull, he's on the hard tyres in the McLaren, filling in for Geordie. It's Geordie. Blubber Bump, he's filling for his Tango in the Red Bull. He's on medium tyres. George, he's in 16th position on the hard tyres, filling in for Rugriff for the Aston Martin. Vents, he's in 17th position for the AlphaTauri. Joker, disappointing qualifying session for him, having a collision with IBM in Q1. He's on the softs. McLeod also on the softs, and Wool on the softs, rounding out the top few cars there. And let's not have a look. Let's have a look at Struggs as we start this race. and change this to positions change as we start the race and drivers begin to stare. 1 light, 2 light, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And there's a jump start, and the Syndicate goes racing. In Japan, there's a jump start from Batustas and IBN. And Struggs looks like he's needing to go defensive with Gaz MC up the inside. And he does squeeze his way through. And oh, there's contact. Struggs is off. Struggs is off. And he's falling down the order. What can he do? He's fallen down to 6th position. More contact. And he's falling well down. There is contact. Gaz MC running out wide, and Chong's up into 2nd position already. Let's go back to the start of this race. Let's go back to the lead of this race even. As they go through Degner 2, Struggs has fallen all the way back into 18th position. Fade up into 5th position. Who knows what could happen here? Struggs has an absolute mountain to climb to secure his championship here. Let's see how he progresses through, but Chong on those soft tyres up 4 positions. AJ Sindo at 2. Temp losing out the start by only 1 position. That was certainly a robust racing from Gaz MC to put Struggs out onto the outside. Didn't leave Struggs any room, but Struggs stayed in it. And you have to say, real life, you see positions like that taken all the time. I don't know if I completely agree with it personally, but it's certainly a form of racing we see in F1 quite often. Chonk in 2nd position on the soft tyre now has a chance of taking the lead of the race. He often says his starts go unnoticed, but certainly haven't gone unnoticed this weekend as he climbed up from 6th on the grid up to 2nd, and Temp has fallen further down. Fade now up into 4th position. It's 6 places gained for Fade, starting in 10th position, but now Temp has retook that position, so there's fighting there. There is fighting between the 2 drivers, and Temp does retake that position. AJ Sinden just happy to probably settle down here. Gaz MC has pace on these mediums, so Chonk isn't going to find this super easy to pass Gaz MC. So this is going to be interesting. And it's Struggs. He looks like he's already making positions back up the field and going through the S's. He is looking to go around the outside of George there, and he gets it done. I think George just backs out of that. Knows no need to race. Struggs too hard, and Struggs on these hard tyres with a mountain to climb, but he only needs to get back up into 8th position to secure the championship today. And there's a yellow through sector 1. There is a yellow. Who's falling down the orders? I think it's Temp. Temp has made a mistake at the Degners, and let's have a look. He's just falling behind. I think cars get by okay, but he's falling behind, and it's Ganja looking for a move around the outside of 1st degrees. And oh, Scott Ball almost crashing into the back of Ganja. Just going deep. I think they all left each other enough room there. Who has the better traction out of Kobayashi corner? And the runner to Spoon. Ganja will have the inside for turn 12, but Skull out tractions him on the run up to Spoon. So Skull Ball takes 7th position. At the front, we have Blubberbump. He's only 9 tenths behind Fade. He's going to be putting the pressure on with these medium tyres against the hard runner. We'll keep an eye on that. Fence in 6th position, only just behind Blubberbump though, so he's looking racy here. Ganja 5 tenths. It's all quite concertinaed up quite closely from 6th position downwards, really. And Gazamti takes the fastest lap of the race, pulling out a gap out of the DRS zone of Chonk. And AJ Sinden falling 3 seconds behind Chonk, but Chonk will have to pit early, and he's probably hoping for a safety car as Fence looks to the inside of Blubberbump. Oh, he almost crashes into the back of him there. And let's go on board. Struggs has took Den in the pool and looking to take the Joker into turn 1, and he gets it done. So Struggs with the bit on his teeth from a recovery drive here, Hamilton style in 2007. Let's hope he can do enough to take the championship. On this occasion, he is up. Needs to get back up into 8th position no matter where Fade is. As things stand, Struggs would be taking the championship. Fade needs to work himself into 1st position to take it, but he certainly does not want to finish this one out of the points and go out on a damp squib. So Struggs going through Degner 1, he looks absolutely fired up from that start after having that collision at turn 2 with Gazamc. Gazamc putting himself up the inside at turn 1 from the start and taking the apex of the corner and just not seeming to leave too much room on the exit of 2, but that'll be disputed after the race in a steward's decision as we have a yellow flag, and it must be who is falling down the order. It's Denton Paul. He's a DNF, and we see our first full safety car. This will bunch the pack up. I wonder if we'll see any of the cars at the start go at the front of the pack, go into the pits. Chonk possibly being one of those ones who started on the softs, but track position is absolutely king here. Opts to stay out, only been out on these softs for 3 laps. So fair enough to stay out, and dead in the pool has crashed out. Is the stream dropping? I hope the stream isn't dropping. Drops just me. Anyone else having problems with stream drops? I will keep an eye out on my second monitor to see if it's dropping. By stream drops, do you mean it's cutting out often or just occasionally? I'll keep an eye out anyway. And Chonk in second position. Great start from him. Batusas saying, Ben jumped the start and I reacted to it. Touched the car in front, which got me damage, and then couldn't make the turn because of the damage and caused a whole mess. So there seems to be some kind of first corner incident further down. Chonk saying, yeah, I got squeezed onto the grass a bit into turn 3. Was that on the first lap, Chonk? That happened to you? Because I must say I was probably watching Struggs fall down the order dramatically. Struggs up into 12th position. Fade not in the right position to take the championship today. Yeah, Matt hit me off the line as well. Right, okay, so some kind of collision there. I'm sure that will get reviewed after the race. Obviously, get your clips in to league clip review. There is a thread open for the SRL-100 Round 11 Japan Season 2. And it's been a frenetic few opening laps. I've said it. I feel like I say it every week. Just Denderpool out, and Denderpool crashing out has caused this safety car. We'll go through the order. Gaz MC, he's up 1 position. Chonk's up 4. AJ Sinden, he's up 2nd position in the up to 3rd position in Red Bull, starting in 5th. Fade, he's up into 4th position, going up 6 places. In the Williams, he needs to be into 1st position. And then Struggs has a bit of luck to keep this championship going his way. Struggs fighting through the pack may, come to damage. He does have some faster cars coming up straight in front. He won't want to relinquish position. Fence up 11 positions from the start. A great start from Fence. I think that's gone a bit under the radar. So for Blubberbump. Fence obviously disqualified from qualifying due to his qualifying ban, but making good at the start. Skull the Bull, and he's on the hard tyre, so well done. Skull the Bull in 7th position. He's up 7 positions. That's nice. Ganja, I don't know why it's nice. 7th and 10th. Ganja, he's up 4 positions. OS Degrees, he's lost out from the start, down 5 positions. We saw him fall backwards. So did Temp. Temp started 3rd on the grid, but had a bit of a moment. Lap 1 and then a further moment, which made him fall down the order to the final points playing position. Mr. Paul Baggery of the Haas. Why is he wearing the fish helmet? Struggs, he's in 12th position. He fell down massively after contact with Gaz MC at turn 2. He's got it all to do. But at the moment, he would be winning the championship, but I know he likes to win. He's a true competitor. Everything, winning, being on the top step of the podium and taking the championship would have been absolutely everything for him, especially at a track like Japan, so historic in its nature, home to a lot of title deciders in real life. Think about Damon Hill in 1996, the Mika Hakkinen and Schumacher battle eras, I think 98 and 2000 certainly being decided at Suzuka. Sebastian Vettel in 2011, he got his 2nd World Championship and maybe 3rd World Championship at Suzuka actually. And yeah, so many historic battles, without even mentioning Ayrton Senna and Prost. And that battle into the Casio chicane and into turn 1 when they were at McLaren and Ferrari as well in 1990 and 1991. Joker, he's in 13th position. He's up 5 positions from the back. McLeod also a good start for him, but they're both on the softs, so they'll have to pit fairly soon. George, he's at 1 position with a fish helmet though. IBN, he's in 16th with a koi helmet. Sad times. Yeah, IBN had such a nice helmet as well. Why has he ditched it for a koi helmet? Matusas, he's looking good. I think is the safety car coming in? No, the safety car is not coming in. Took so long to go through there. The safety car lights are still on, so they're not coming in unless it makes the stupidest late dive into the pits. No, going around one more time. Matusas, he's in 17th position. Captain Raver Fox in 18th, and Wool just rejoining the pack on fresh pair of softs, I believe. Let's have a look at the tyres. So, who's pitted? Matusas has pitted for mediums. Wool's pitted for softs. And Captain Rainbow Fox is pitted for a pair of hards. And that's it, I believe. We have a DNF and dead in the pool. Don't know what happened to dead in the pool. So if AJ didn't go wheel to wheel with me into turn 1, I would have jumped Gaz as I left tons of room for AJ and I hit the curb. Well, at least you didn't leave no room to AJ. And you still have second position. So, you know, a good start, Chunk. But not quite the best start. So not quite the drive of the day or moment of the day material. I'm really fucking with you. So, Gaz MC. He is taking the lead of the race. We'll enable the telemetry and the lap data as well now. Now those crucial first 5 laps are done. I always think the first 5 laps and the final 5 laps of the race are crucial, and any laps surrounding safety cars. But with safety cars, especially at a track like here, so hard to overtake. Just keep your nose clean. Keep your nose clean. Keep your nose clean. Get to the final 5 laps of the race and see what you can attack and get. See what's worth risking for. So, AJ Syndicate would make big gains on third position in the championship as things lie. Struggs would take the World Championship Season 2 of the SRL-100 if things finish as they stand. Long way to go though. 6 laps of 53. If you haven't followed us, drop us a follow. Every little follow is really appreciated. Tell a friend if it's your first time here. Join the Discord. We have casual lobbies most nights. And we are rostering for the SRL-50 racing 8 PM on Fridays. BST, that is. 8 PM BST. And obviously you have a chance to reserve in the SRL-100 as well if you get a clean driver tag. So let's watch this. It's a late recall. The third sector is actually so short in comparison to all the others. So it is. You do have to slow it down quite a bit. I think 80 kilometers an hour is okay, but he's slowing down. It's not a consistent speed. I think he could go a bit quicker than this, Gaz MC. But he does have one clean restart, stab, return to racing, and Chonk, ever the competitor, ever wily, will try and make a gain into turn 1. But they'll burn a lot of ERS here, and hopefully it hasn't concertinaed out too much. Bit of a space between Gev and Temp, so maybe a little bit of incident there. But Chonk, 5 tenths behind Gaz MC, and let's see through the pack. Struggs, of course, trying to make places, and he does make a place on Kev, but Struggs has about 2 seconds to catch up to Temp, and Temp just behind OS Degrees, and there's a McLaren cutting the track. Must be Scholar Bull. Must be Scholar Bull cutting the track here, and that will back the cars up. I think he probably rejoined okay all in all, but we'll back the pack up a little bit there, and gap appears. Fence has got Blubber Bump into 5th position through the Degners. Just missed that then, and AJ Syndicate starting to fall off the back of these two already. Chonk will do everything within its power on those aging softs to stay in range of Gaz MC. Those mediums feel electric around this circuit, so Gaz MC on the absolute optimal tyre for this stage of the race. Of course, the softs feel good for a lap or two, and then you want to throw them in the bin and never talk about them again. Chonk talking about how much softs he had saved, but that safety car could prove quite costly because it will bunch the pack up and he will lose a lot of positions if he had to pit now, and he'll have to pit soon. So Struggs already on the back of Temp, and Struggs will want to make progress ASAP. Temp looking into 130R, thinks better of it, and it's Scandra just running a little bit wide there. Won't be able to do that too many times through the Grand Prix without getting a penalty as we ride on forward through Casio. It's a yellow flag. No, there's not a yellow flag, just my eyes deceiving me. As we go through here, Temp closing down on Gandra, and Struggs closing down on his brother too. He'll try and go up the inside. I think Gandra will show his brother the most respect possible out of anyone on the circuit, surely. Or maybe he'll shut the door and mention something about collusion. So Struggs does give through his brother nicely, and Temp follows Temp through, who makes the move. And now Struggs trying to go around the outside at the S's, spots a mistake from Temp and gets the job done. Next is OS Degrees, just a second up the road. Less than a second. A nice move from Struggs there. Really nice move. Just spots an opportunity, a bit like Russell in the race today. And there's a yellow through Sector 1. George has spun. No, it's Wool. Wool has spun off. And hopefully there's no more cars collected there. It looks like green flag conditions have resumed through through the first sector. They have, as he heads into the second sector. So the order is Gaz MC from Chonk, from AJ Syndicate, from Fade, and Fent very close behind Fade. Fade not making progress on the cars in front, but he won't be panicking. Struggs up into the points positions. He just needs one more position, and it doesn't matter where Fade will finish. He will take the championship in 8th position, I believe. What is it? So first, second, I think he needs 4 points. It's 3 points. He needs 3 points. Yeah, I think 8th position. Let's say 7th, just to be safe. He needs to go to 7th positions to not care about where Fade is finishing to take this championship. Captain Rainbow Fox gets a penalty for multiple warnings, and OS Degrees has made a move on Skull the Bull, and Strugs will want to follow through quickly, but didn't make the progress on that lap that he may have hoped to have done. But OS Degrees does make progress, and a lot cleaner through the second S, and we have Fence so close behind Fade through the S's, but just nowhere to overtake around here. And they're doing a great job, the SRL-100 roster, at racing today. Not too many collisions in the opening 10 laps around such a tight circuit. And Strugs trying to go around the outside at Degner 1, is he? I think Skull the Bull just decides better of it. Has a worse exit and gets very wide out of the exit of Degner 1. Nearly losing it into Degner 2 there, Skull, but does a good enough job. And now Strugs is closing down on OS Degrees. 1st and 3rd in the championship in 8th and 7th. The purple helmet of Strugs closing down on OS Degrees. And Fence is so close behind Fade on the exit of Spoon. And that safety car has bunched the pack up and helped Strugs battle through the pack a bit here. But Fence closing down. He has better pace here. He does have better pace. You can tell it. But you have to be able to overtake here too. And I don't think DRS is active quite this lap. But Fade really offline through there. But just gets bottled up, Fence here. Just gets bottled up. And he does have DRS. So DRS is active this lap. And Fade will find it very hard to defend here. And I see how hard he will battle for this position, knowing it's better to stay in the race. And yes, he just sticks behind Fence. So Fence gets up into 4th position. And Strugs takes OS Degrees on the straight 2, passing into turn 1. Next up the field is 3 seconds away though. Quite far away. We'll see how quickly he bridges that gap to Bubble Bump. And Fence now only a second behind his sister team car of the Red Bull of AJ Sinden. And AJ Sinden right up behind Chonk. Chonk's soft starting to go off like an old mouldy lumpy piece of bread and so wide through the Degners. I think this is really starting to bottle up AJ Sinden, and this is good for Gaz MC. He's building up a nice gap, and OS Degrees gets a penalty too. So we already had 3 cars with penalties through here, both Ferraris having a 3-second penalty. So AJ Sinden closing up on Spoon through the corner before Spoon and into Spoon, and he'll try and he's just got so much more confidence on those tyres at this stage. And there's a safety car. There is a safety car, so saved by the bell there, I think, Chonk. And AJ Sinden goes side by side. I think there's a delta issue here. I think there's a delta issue. Massive delta issue around here. Good to see that that's not being fixed by the game. And that's why the car slowed down almost to a halt to avoid a drive-through penalty. So that's disappointment for Gaz MC. Built a nice 4-second gap to Chonk. And the car's behind and was probably going to pull away. And, you know, on those medium tyres, you need to get the opening laps done. But Chonk will surely have to peel into pits. And this is going to be devastating. It would be better than if he pitted under racing conditions, but possibly come out down in 17th position here as the cars start to peel through. Mercedes won the first bit of boxes in the pit lane, and depending on what other cars decide to pit, he's going to come out. He's gone out onto another pair of softs, so thinks he can get the job done. The delta was fucking 10 seconds basically. So yeah, right, okay. So I guess that Chonk falls down into 12th position. A few more cars pitting behind. Joker pitting onto the hard tyres. We have McLeod. He's pit onto a pair of softs. And OS Degrees, he is coming into the box. He's lost his front wing, so maybe the cause of this safety car. Yeah, Alex, let us know if you're still dropping frames. I don't seem like it's dropping too many frames. Delta scared the living S out of me. Defense. I don't know why I bleeped that shite out. It's family friendly, isn't it? Especially with my Ted Bundy talk. So, Gaz MC still leading this race, but now AJ Sinden's in 2nd position. Strugs up into 6th. He's in position to win the championship, even if Fade takes a win now. If Fade suddenly was in first position, we had a Mario Party Bowser shuffle like we did at France in one of the practice races for the league under safety car, under broadcast. It just shuffled everyone up. And Fade suddenly found himself in first. If Struggs is in sixth, Struggs have got the championship. Sewed up and done. So pretty sure the drops are on end. Just your normal occasional frame drops now. Oh, are you dishing my terrible internet? Okay. So, Skullable. He's I think McLaren are doing well this weekend, aren't they? In 7th position. And raced well in the SRL-100 Skullable, but bit of contact with Captain Coolwine, right? It was Captain Coolwine in the final stages. May see him drop down the order. More on that to come. And we have another lap. Should be boxed together this lap, right? Quite slow through the S's. Will be absolutely bombing it through the final part of the sector. Yeah, dead in the pool. I should be this what a VSC should be for a front wing, right? Someone's broken a front wing. Router's like 5 years old now. I tell you what, my router is just the garbage one that they give you. So I mean, it's Ethernet. It's fine. The thing is I don't get fibre to the property, so it's like fibre to the terminal, to the cabinet, and then copper from there. And it's just, I'm obviously nowhere near the terminal as well because I don't get anything near. Chonk saying, WTF? What's happened to Chonk? They are going so slow. Who are going so slow? Are you telling Bert Mallington to speed up? Because I hate to break it with you, it's a game and he can't hear. Who are going so slow? The cars in front? I've got a penalty. What have you got a penalty for? All caps, just in case. Didn't realise. Penalty, so he's got a 5-second penalty, probably for collision under safety car. And Fade's pulled off. Fade has pulled off. What has happened to Fade? He's lost his front wing. Disaster for Fade. Doesn't change too much, but he's dropped to the back of the field. An absolute disaster. And he'll need to come into the pits for a front wing change. An absolute disaster for Fade there. He must have had a collision at some point. And he came off the track to let other cars go by. But he'll need to pit. And I don't think safety car's going to come in this lap. So Fade has side floor damage 2, it looks like. Okay. How are you seeing that? I don't see that. Let's have a ride on the off-road. So safety car's in this lap. Fade has to pit. This is a disaster for Fade. But let's ride on board with Gaz MC, who was so late that safety car was pulled back in. But he's gone for it. And AJ Sinden is 5/10 down. He'll do everything in his power to catch up with Gaz MC. Struggs back up to 5th position. After his collision early doors, Fade having to pit. So Fade says he saw the damage in the off-board shot. Let's have a look through here at the damage as he comes into the pit for a new wing. No idea how you see that, but fair enough. But someone's falling down through the pack. It's Matusas, is it? Matusas is falling down. Fence has spun. Oh, through the S's. Fence has not warmed up his hard tires in time. And that is the good thing about the mediums here. They really warm up quickly. Still, Denonpool is the only car not to be running in this race. Fade has had to pit. Fence has had a spin recently. And Gaz MC in first position. From AJ Sinden, who's already dropped a second out of range. Blubber on the mediums in 4th. Struggs has gained a position from the start because of Fence running out there. Running out of talent? I don't know what happened to it, so I'll refrain from saying that. But Struggs is right on the back of Blubberbum. And let's see how quickly he can dispatch the Red Bull driver. As he closes down, does he look for the inside at 130R? He does. He does. And it forces Blubberbum wide. He sticks at it. But just sticks the nose down there. Absolutely not taking any prisoners. Sticks the nose down there. And Blubberbum takes avoiding measures. but a dangerous place to overtake, and I think Blood Bump just felt like I'm not getting involved in any silly battle today. But now Struggs is just 1.2 seconds behind AJ Sinden. So Struggs having to fight through the pack, so it's been a good battle for him to do it in this way, to take the championship in this way. Can he finish? It's a long way to go. Long way to go. But we have Mr. Boar Baggery. He's in 9th position. He was up to 8th position through the pit stops. So good from IBN. And so it's just filtered out your F stake there, Chonk. Ben collected me and gave me damage, so Chonk is now down, having to pit hard. Is it wing damage or just a pit damage? Chonk on the hard tyres now. He's on a bit of recovery, and AJ Sinden under pressure from Struggs. Under pressure from Struggs. As we head through, there's a yellow in sector 1. Looks like Fade has spun, and probably does have a bit of side floor damage. This could be the championship over. Hopefully Fade can stick in it, but he's spun again. He has spun again with the damage through the S's. Really struggling. And hopefully he can just stay in it, fight to the end. Rosberg style in 2014. But Gaz MC's opened up a nice gap at the front of the grid. And really this could be a battle between Gaz MC and Struggs for the win of this race. Obviously there was an incident into turn 2, which will be investigated on that one. But Fade just needs to get his head back in the game. Felt unstable through qualifying, and Captain Raven Fox up to 10th position. But Batusas takes the place right back. Let's see how they're battling through here. And oh, Captain Raven Fox I think has spun. I think Captain Raven Fox has spun during that overtake. So he's falling down the pack. And Struggs is closing up on AJ. Will try and make a pass ASAP. AJ Sinden will be happy with any points he can take here to try and close up in third in the championship. Probably the most improved driver AJ Sinden over the course of the 2 seasons, on the wheel at least. He started off well, of course, in season 1, but transferred to the wheel. Just couldn't seem to get any consistency down, and had a lot of bad luck at the start of this year, AJ Sinden. Quite a few points playing positions just falling out of his hands through DNS as Struggs. One's a bit wide there. Don't think he'll be able to afford too many of those warnings there. If you do get a warning for running right down, I'm not too sure if I'm honest. Struggs closing down on AJ. Matusas up into 9th position, but does have a penalty. And at least Chonk was able to clear his 5-second penalty as he pitted. That's one happy moment for you. But AJ Sinden starting to close down that gap at the front of the race. So he doesn't have DRS this time around, but if he can just dip into that DRS zone, that will help him defend from Struggs greatly, and this could be a great battle at the front between the 3 cars. A mistake-driven battle. Any little mistake for any driver could cost them dearly around this beautiful historic circuit. 5.5 kilometers, 5.8 kilometers of figure of 8 madness. It's not quite Wreckfest, but I absolutely love it. You don't get a warning running ride there usually. Results in time loss. Okay, so no warning for running ride at Spoon, which is probably fair enough. I know track limits. I feel like track limits should just be track limits, right? No matter what the corner. But that's a whole topic for a different day. Struggs is very, very close behind AJ, and actually Gaz MC has built a gap here, so he won't have the benefit of DRS next time round. AJ Struggs looks left and right into Spoon, looking for any kind of chink in AJ Sinden's defence, and it doesn't look like there's any at the moment, but we'll see as they come to the DRS zone. Struggs had to default setup on in the SRL-100 and still managed to win, so clearly has a lot of pace around here, natural pace, understands the circuit very well, and oh, you can see the confidence that Struggs has through the Casio chicane, but AJ Sinden hugs the inside of that corner as much as possible and goes defensive into turn 1, but gives the place back. I think he's just thought there's no point fighting that. That speed was unbelievable and so hard to hang it around the outside there. So very strange to take that back. Codebreakers only know inconsistency. You're absolutely right there. So Struggs up into second position after falling down near to the back of the grid on lap 1 after a collision with Gaz MC. And now it's Gaz MC next. Let's see how fair they are racing here. Whether Struggs will just be able to take any kind of position off Gaz MC. Struggs on this harder compound tyre. Those mediums will start to be falling away now. And HS England will hope to cling on to the back of Struggs here and maybe use Struggs as a way forward into second position in this race. Gaz MC could probably pit now for a pair of hards if there was a safety car, which would help him greatly. But there is a bit of natural field spread as well, like we haven't seen in the race so far. We'll keep an eye out on the front. Skolder Bull putting pressure on Tempe, the Alfa Romeo driver, being followed by the reserve McLaren driver here. 4/10 down as they head through Spoon and exit down the hill and head towards 130R. The flat out left-hander. And it's not closing in, so I don't think he'll be making a move here, but we'll see what it's like under DRS. AGS Indian's very close to Struggs here, but seems to make a mistake at chicane actually, because he's lost 5/10 out of there. Skolder Bull is very close, but just not getting the traction down completely. Will he close and close and close? He looks like he'll be just too far away, but he does have a big overshoot in speed as he comes towards, but it's just not quite close enough. And you have to be so careful to watch the back end of the car in front, especially because the braking lines are so different when you have DRS versus to when you don't have DRS. And Struggs is now within a second of Gaz MC. So Struggs is doing everything to close this gap. And there's a yellow. It must be Mr. Borbagri. Looks like he's spun at sector 1. He has. He rejoins the circuit. Fair enough. Good job from Kev rejoining the circuit there. OS Degrees back up into 11th position. McLeod in 10th position on a pair of softs, but those softs won't go very far. He'll have to pit soon on those. Gaz MC, he is in first position, but how long will he maintain the lead of this race? Williams of the Williams Struggs and the McLaren of Gaz MC made contact on lap 1 right at the start of the race. Turn 2, Gaz MC took the inside of turn 1 and the inside of turn 2 and just seemed to run the car out wide, and Struggs had to take to the grass and then made further errors through the later S's, and Gaz MC runs deep, so this could be Struggs' opportunity to take the position. Gaz MC runs deep and Struggs goes the longest way around there to try and build some speed up, and the move could be done into turn 1. It is done, and Gaz MC won't be able to battle back there. So Struggs has recovered and took the lead of the race, and that is definitely enough for him to win the championship. He put it firmly out of sight, especially with Fade not running in the points way down at the back. Absolute reverse of the start of the race. Struggs has recovered, but his car's been in the wars. You see how dirty it is. Absolutely been in the wars for Struggs. He'll look to try and build pressure on through the rest of this race now. And Japan obviously was the first place that Struggs raced in the SRL-100, and he did crash out of that race at the midway point, so hopefully he'll be able to set himself right. Car number 25 comes through Kobayashi corner and looks to go after probably the fastest lap. Struggs Stappen, absolutely, I agree with you, Alex. He's just so dominant, class above the field on most days, and it looks like he can fight his way through on any track. Such a difficult track to overtake, and he's got it done. He's put pressure on other drivers. Gaz MC running deep into the Casio, and that opened up the move for Struggs. So AJ Sinden, a second and a half down. Still good pace from Gaz MC here. Still good pace. And you'd have to think, I wonder if Gaz MC gets a full-time seat in the league for next year, whether he'd be able to mount a fight for the championship. But there's a car going backwards. Looked like Wool has had some kind of a ding-dong at Degner 2. And Fence, running a bit deep there. And who's going to out-traction here? I think Fence will have the inside here. And is there any cars in danger of being lapped? About a sector away from being lapped is Fade at the back here. Fade not enjoying the best form, and I think he's hoping for a safety car at this point, so he can reset and recharge. Some people spotting a bit of damage to his car. Where is that? Is it on his left-hand side pod? I really can't spot that, to be honest. He's got better eyes than me if he has got damage. But we'll have to see. Where are the battles in the pack? Skull the Bull still right behind Tempe. This battle for 5th position. Oh, and Skull the Bull! Oh, he just runs deep. He runs deep. And I think he's trying to give the place back to Tempe. And he does give the place back to Tempe. That's good racing place. Certainly lost the position. Tempe through that. Ganja gets through. Skull the Bull recognised that he was too deep on the brakes there. And Tempe loses the position. Close racing for a few laps there. But gives the place back. But still causes damage to Tempe's race. Going deep on the brakes. Good sportsmanship to give the place back there. Ganja is now up in the 5th position. He benefits from that greatly. So 2 Struggs brothers in the top 5 here, and Ganja looking to complete his 3rd race in the row. Always quick to reserve each week, quick on the ball, but will have pressure from Tempe over the next few laps. Matusas trying to put the pressure on Tempe as well though, and hopefully there's some kind of spice coming up, because Struggs has absolutely opened up a gap at the front of the pack. How's Chonk doing racing through the pack? Chonk did say he had damage, so he had to pit. But I don't know if he's got any kind of body or diffuser damage to his car. But he's on those hard tyres now, so he could possibly get to the end of the race. So, drop us a follow if you haven't done before. Tell a friend about the league if you know someone into F1. We do casual lobbies most nights. And there's of course links to Discord down below in the socials. Although Batusa said that he couldn't see anything below earlier, so I don't know if that's just a glitch with Twitch. But I'll look at that after the race. But yes, so AJ Sinden on lap 51. Chonk's got a penalty here for cutting corners, so I think that'll be a 3-second penalty. Let's have a look at the penalties as we see Matusas coming to pits. So is this his mandatory pit stop? Let's see if it's a wing change. It looks like it's just a tyre change. Going on to those hards, deciding now is the time. Maybe spotting a bit of a gap here, but he'll be released behind Kev and possibly behind his teammate Joker. Obviously Joker won't battle him too hard, but as they come out the pits, I think Matusas does fall behind, and Fox is trying for a move up the inside of Joker into turn 1. The link is on the channel page. Thanks, Alex. You've been a great spotter tonight. I never know if I've set anything up correctly. Last week it was like saying, look forward to round 9 at Singapore, even though round 9 was China. And yeah. Attention to detail, not my strongest footing sometimes. So, Captain Rainbow Fox released from behind Joker there, and Matusas will surely catch Joker and be let by quickly, but Matusas pitting onto a pair of hards. I think he's been on these hards earlier in the race, because it says 2 laps worth of wear on the hards, and AJ Sinden doing well to stick with the medium runner of Gaz MC, but those mediums must be starting to expire pretty soon. Matusas obviously making the opportunity to ditch and change off onto the harder tyre. Let's see if that works out well for him through the course of this race. 19 runners left in the race as we head into the 23rd tour of the circuit, and we watch AJ Sinden through the S's and up to turn 7, and there's a spinner. I think it could be Wool. Wool looks like he spun on the inside there, and he probably lost his front wing, but Wool is now a lap down, and let's say we can keep out of the way of the cars coming, and he does a very nice job there as Ganjo is coming through also, but looks like Wool has lost his front wing. The Haas driver, who had the qualifying ban at the start of the session, currently in 19th position and a lap down on the lead car of Struggs. Struggs looking to take his first Syndicate Racing League championship, the SRL-100. The Williams driver driving superbly, battled through the field. Dramatic moment on the opening lap. Saw him fall down the order, but he fought back. Moves through 130R. The first corner, yeses. He's made every part of the track an overtaking opportunity. A track which traditionally is very difficult to overtake. He's got every right to have this championship this year. He's been stunning all year. His qualifying form is just unbelievable. I think it's like 9 or 8 pole positions. Round 11, I think there's been 3 other poles. Let's name them. His Tango, Fade, and Fade. Fade may have got 2 pole positions this year, and then 8 to Struggs, including today. It's been exemplary. His win rate is superb as well. I think 7 or this will be his 7th win of the season. Maybe he's 8. Oh, I don't know. Maybe his 8th win of the season. Obviously won last weekend in Singapore. Has won a lot back to back now. I feel like every race since Monza he may have won. I may be wrong on that one, but IBN gets past Joker, and there's another spin, and it's Mr. Paul Baggery. No, it's the Wool. He spun at the S's again. And let's just keep an eye. Gaz MC keeping a pace with Struggs. Yes, he's leading in 4.67 seconds a lap, but those medium tyres are not optimum at this part of the race. Obviously, the cars in front will be able to ditch onto the medium, and really Gaz MC is looking for a safety car right about now, because he will want people on the medium tyres to have to run long on them to put them under some kind of pressure. But things not quite going his way, and Struggs sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:32.963. As AJ Sinden still about 1.5 seconds back. He does have a penalty there, AJ Sinden. So let's have a look at that. That's a 3-second penalty. So that could come into play at the end of the race. Blubber Bump, he came in late for his Tango, but picking up good points here in 4th position. Fellow reserve driver, we've got 3 reserve drivers in the top 5. So great racing from them. And every reserve driver except from George is in the top 10. George running in 18th position. Wool has a 5-second 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. As we've had 19 runners. Oh, and Ganja spins. Ganja spins. And he takes out the BWT sponsorship logo. He says, Aston Martin, don't be sponsored by them. And he'll knock that over. Just an unfortunate spin for him there. That relegates him to 8th position. He's been doing so well, running high up in the points. But that puts Temp back up to 5th position. Scullable only a few places behind here. They made contact earlier on, but Scullable gave the places back. But Temp did lose a position to Ganja through it all. So I'm sure we'll see that as a stewards discussion at the end of the race. As Blubberbump is in 4th position. A little bit twitchy. Oh, no. I don't think he's twitchy. I think that's desync. I thought he just binned it in the wall somehow, coming up to 130R. But there's a bit of desync there. AJ Sinden. Oh, Gaz MC's pitted from 2nd place in the race. So let's see. He'll be putting onto the hard tyres. His only stop of the race, presumably. And Blubberbump also pitting this lap too. So Gaz MC may slot back out into 30 here. Let's see if Temp is close enough to take the position. It's going to be a close one as they rattle down to turn 1. He does take the position. Skull the Bull, his teammate just behind. Out. Will Skull the Bull let his teammate go by pretty quickly? You suspect he should. Oh, a little bit of a moment there for Gaz MC. And oh, these hards must feel like absolute hell as they're cold through this S's. And he loses a considerable chunk of time to Gaz MC. As Well, let's not ride on board because that's just making it absolutely feel motion sick with how much desync there is. But leaning around like a boat through there, and Scholar Bull will see how quickly his teammate gets out the way. Both drivers don't go on mic during the race, so I'm not sure if they've had much communication before the race about racing each other. But Scholar Bull presumably will see his teammate. No, he's not racing him. No, that Gaz MC has got to fight for the lead here. And I wonder if AJS Inden will try to respond to that with strategy and try to go on the mediums. I think the overcut will work here nicely though, because of how woeful those hard tyres are through the first sector. It's got Scholar Bull so close up to Tempe. He may be just focused on his battle going through. But if I was Scholar Bull, I'd definitely let my teammate through and try and use Gaz MC to make Tempe give a position up in a strange position and try and follow him through as we watch this helicopter shot as then rolling down into turn 1. This is going to be Scholar Bull's best opportunity for a while to make a move, and he goes up the inside into turn 1. The McLaren goes up the inside and takes a position. And Tempe has to see position there. So now Tempe will be the car that Gaz MC is against, and Gaz MC seems to not have quite got those tyres turned on quite yet. But Temp is in a battle with Scholar Bull here. And we have McLeod dropping down the order. Has he gone into the pits? We'll be able to tell if we go into tyres. He hasn't gone into pits. He must have just made a mistake out of the final corner, because he dropped 2 places there and falls out of the points positions. And everyone in the top 10 is on hards, but some on new hards, some on hold hards. And those hards are looking terrible during this part of the race. But Gaz MC is actually closing up on Temp now. So let's see how long Temp will be able to keep this faster car behind. And IBM is retired. That could be safety car. It is a safety car. IBM has retired. And let's have a look at how he has retired. Looks like it's on the Dunlop curve. Turn 7. And looks like there's a big delta problem again. Again, there's a delta problem. So let's see where IBN's car is. If it doesn't just... Yeah, so just off the racing line. IBN crashes out. Unfortunate to see that. He'd been running well this weekend. But another DNF for IBN. Scholar Bull. Alright, so Struggs and AJS Inden pit. Struggs and so AJS Inden's pit. He's come out and lead the race. That's not worked well for Gaz MC. That's not worked well at all. Scholar Bull's pitted. Blubberbub. He's up in 4th position now. Scholar Bull's pitted. OS Degrees pitted for mediums. We'll see most cars pit for tyres, you think, at this stage, because it is the window. Very few cars will go for Matusas up into 6th position, thanks for pitting to those hards earlier on in the race. So if it's first time watching, drop us a follow. Struggs has the lead in this race on mediums. HSN will be on the same. Kevin kind of effed my race, to be honest, says Chonk. Be interesting to see whatever you're saying about that. But let's go off board as Struggs warms up his engine by absolutely massacring it. His RPM maxed out about 13,000 for each gear, trying to keep his engine warm. OS Degrees is back up to 7th position, so he fell down the order. So he's back up. Where's Fade got back up to? He's only back up to 16th, but this does save him from being lapped, so he'll be thankful for that at least. There'll be a while before the safety car comes in. Oh. So James is fuel burning, right? Okay, has so much extra. So So he's fuel burning by having the gears. So I always thought he was just warming his engine up when doing that. But he is fuel burning. Good strategy. If only we could do a proper league system with proper engine penalties and all that kind of stuff, that'd be awesome. But no. Ah, the league system in F122 just stinks. It's stronger in F121. I hate that you have to stick to social lobbies because there's so much that can go wrong because of it. But the league system just stinks. HS England does have that 3-second penalty, so that is Gaz MC's redeeming feature here. So if Gaz MC can keep pace with HS England, then that's second place secured. He'll want to go after the leader's race, so he won't feel like he's out. And Struggs has battled so hard to be in this race now. He just needs to keep it clean and consistent and not over push. Firm believer that you just have to win in the slowest time possible. Don't need to over push it, but there's a bit of a moment there with Blubber Bump. Matusas gets a place and steal the ball. Yeah, it's just the game it is, Alex. I don't even think the league system tracks like engine penalties, etc. But imagine like a my team experience to running a league. Of course, drop the like a career experience. Let's say drop all the like improving your engine, etc., etc. But just focus on like the managing your engine, where etc., etc. That would be fun. I think I'd like that a lot. Just add that realistic flavour to the leagues. That's the way that this game could be improved. Not with F1 Life, not with Breaking Point. With, you know, great. This is where the scene is, right? But it's not. They don't build those features for the core audience. They build it for the casual audience. Ben says having such a good recovery drive. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. You seem to be running quite high at one stage and then fell down and then just crashing out. What happened to you? Just lost at the Dunlop curve, did you, Ben? I know, it's grim, isn't it, Keji? It's grim. What's the worst thing about supercars is they just feel awful anyway. It's not like supercars. Who wants them? But at least did a bloody good job at it. They're just awful. They just feel awful. Chonk complaining about the Delta. I mean, you shouldn't have a Delta, should you? Unless you're talking about how slowly the cars are going. Dip my wheel onto the grass and it spun me. Yeah, it's so tricky. Traction out there, you have to be so committed. It's so easy to mess up. I mean, exactly, but I don't know if you've seen this, but since buying Codemasters, like basically all of their games have been delisted because they don't want to bother with old licenses for old cars. Like Dirt Rally's gone. As soon as Dirt Rally's 2 licenses are up, that'll be gone. Project Cars is gone, which of course Cody's bought Slightly Mad. And what else is gone? Dirt 4, that's gone. And they just don't care. They'll just let those old licenses die. And F1 2020, with its classic cars, they'll delist it. Even though the classic cars were an amazing feature and quite good fun in social lobbies. But we should have a F1 2020 game. Yeah, I agree. Don't like to do it again. We should have a F1 2020 lobby sometime. So, safety cars in this lap. So that's a late call. No, it's not a late call actually. It's a call right on time. Cody's NASCAR game. Now that would be good. Dendenpool's left the session, but he retired quite early up. But we'll just return. Watch him return to racing, keeping the speed quite high. Struggs and warming up his tyres to the last. As we have one clear, concise return to racing. As AJ Sinden is under pressure from Gaz MC straight away. And looks like Blubber wants to be part of that too. And up the inside, AJ Sinden is there contact? Oh, there's a little bit of contact. But they both managed to keep it clean. And Gaz MC takes the position. Takes second position. And now he'll be after chasing Struggs, but those medium tyres will feel beautiful for Struggs. And there's a spinner. I think it's Wool. I think Wool has spun at sector 1. Turn 3. But he's recovered. And OS Degrees up in 7th position. Temp falling back. And Ganja up into 9th. He's just took a place off Joker. Into Degner 1. But Joker will look to come back at him up to the hairpin. And he does have a better drive, but I think he backs out of it. And that concertines him into Fox a little bit. And AJ Sindon is right behind Gaz MC, looking to take that position back. On those medium tyres, he'll have to pull a gap. That's 3 seconds, but AJ Sindon got caught out by the restart and some good clean racing between the two. I think there was just a little bit of contact at turn 1 and 2, but just a bump, and the two went through cleanly. Gaz MC taking the position off AJ Sindon. Now it's Red Bulls 3 and 4. Skolder Bull up into 5th position. Oh, he's up into 5th position, but spinning out at 130R and must have took diffuser damage there. He's hit the back of his car heavy against the tyre barrier and trying to get his car back on the track and just waiting for cars to go by. And he's going to have to wait for the whole field to go by. That's really tragic. Oh, and he gets... That's just that's a bullshit penalty. If you don't pit, Skull, if you don't pit again, protest that one. But he's pitting right now, so I think 5 seconds of that will be served, will it? Let's have a quick look at his penalties. So, well, he has a drive-through. I don't think it has been served actually. So Scholar Ball's retired from the race actually, so he must have had severe diffuser damage. And furious with that one, he's left the session. Hope he did have damage there. But Gaz MC is back up in... okay, of course he's back up in 2nd position. But, so then there's no safety car there, and Struggs has pulled out a 3-second gap. That's just unbelievable. AJ Sindon putting on the pressure on Gaz MC here, though. And both cars are pulling away from Blubberbump. So Blubberbump not being able to remain in this fight. Wonder what happened to Scholar Bull there. As he goes wide. Trying to go out the outside of 130R. He gets the job done, and then the safety car is out. The safety car is out again. And I think Wool has crashed out at the end of the Dunlop curve. So we have another safety car period. And AJ Sindon just getting that overtake done there before the safety car. F1 2020 was good, Keji. So, we'll see if anyone has to pit. There's a few cars pitting. Temp certainly is one of those cars coming into the pits. Typical McLaren race outside of being on a podium spot. Yeah. So, serving a penalty? No, changing a front wing. So, Temp's pitted. Joker's pitted. 4 pair of medium tyres. Let's see how old those tyres are. So, Temp's had to go onto a pair of softs. Joker onto a pair of mediums. I wonder if Temp will just switch back onto the right pair of tyres. Probably just have a couple of laps of safety car here. And I'm just going to be back for 1 quick second. Let's go. Watch our race leader. So, Chonk saying Fade needs to give me the place back. He glitched the penalty thing when Skull Crash. He passed me under yellow flags, and then when I tried to pass him, I got the penalty warning. Okay. Just submit it, Chonk. I mean, if you're listening, Fade, and you feel like you should need to give the place back in the opening sector. Well, probably on the opening lap, let's say, around here, because giving a place around the opening sector may be hell. But certainly give the place back on the opening lap if you feel like you've done something wrong, Fade. If not, you can risk it with the stewards. And is it? Let's see. Let's webcam check it. No, we won't do webcam yet because it would block the tower just slightly. As this should be the final, and yet Temp does switch back onto the medium. That's another frustrating thing in this game. Say, I don't want to change tyre. That's something they could do in real life. Just change the wing. Tyres are good. Frustrations are endless with this game. But Temp's caught up the back of the pack. And behind Struggs. Chonk and Fade. Fade's raced back into 8th position here, so good on him. A good recovery drive. He had a spin, was it? Yeah, he spun, I think, in the opening laps. And he's recovered up on lap 34 into 8th position. And we'll see the safety car come in. It's such, I've spoken about it before, sector 3 is so short here. Like, you have maybe 4 corners in the final sector. 5 if you can lose 130R, and 6 if you can lose like the final corner, I guess. Yeah, they count Cassia corner as 3 corners, crazy. But we have we have to return to racing. Safety car is in this lap, but the amount of turns is small, so he has to back up the pack fairly consistently here. Let the safety car go, and he returns to racing. And AJ Sinden not caught napping that time, very very close behind Struggs. But Struggs has good top line speed here. But Gaz MC closing down on AJ Sinden, and Blubber Bump also close behind. But no car closer to 4 move into turn 1 this time. But AJ Sinden certainly a lot closer there. A lot better restart. And we don't see any moves in the opening few corners, do we? But there is a yellow flag through sector 1. And it looks like Fence has fallen back down to the bottom of the order. So he's on a spin at turn 2. McLeod, Chonk. Let's have a look at the mid-pack, because it's doubtful everything's going to go on in front. As they are running at such the same pace. Chonk. Let's see if Fade wants to give that position back. And if he doesn't, then he doesn't. But that's his prerogative. But Chonk goes for a move. It looks like Fade is trying to race forward. And Chonk up the inside. Oh, he just doesn't have enough room around the outside there to make a move. And there's a yellow flag. It's Fence. He's retired from the session. And Chonk well off the track there. Rejoins the track with no one up the inside. But my opinion of this is he's gone off the track there and gained an advantage by going up the inside here. That's my opinion. So if he makes that move stick and he forces them off, I'd report that if I was Ganja. I'd definitely report that, because he's got off the track to gain an advantage. But there's a yellow flag, so Fence is retired from the Blubber Bump is up on AJ. AJ Sinden, he's had a moment out the final corner, and he's lost 4 positions. And crucially, OS Degrees has got ahead of him. That battle for 3rd place, OS Degrees has come back from absolutely nowhere. These safeguards have brought him in, and he loses it. He loses it. And it's does everyone get around him nicely? I think AJSS Sinden chooses the right option to get off the racing line there. And, oh, there's a crash. There's a crash. AJ Sinden's out. Oh, was there another spin from Tempe? That looked like AJ Sinden was off the grass, but... Oh, we'll have to have a look at that. Yeah, Fence, just, I don't know if there's safety car. Well, just clip it and submit it, Fence. Clip it and submit it. So, Struggs is got a big lead here now to Gaz MC. AJ Sinden out of this race. Out of this race. after 36 laps of running in the top 3. And the curse has come back. The Suzuka curse has come back to haunt him. Last year again, running really, really well. And he just didn't make it round. So Temp had a crash with AJ. Not really sure what happened there. We'll have to have a watch, but AJ had spun on the inside curb at turn 1 and turn 2. Strug setting the fastest lap of the race. Blubber bump now, the Red Bull left in proceedings, but look at OS Degrees closing and closing and closing. Ooh, that was a bit of a reactive move to cover off the outside there, I think. He does return to the racing line, but OS Degrees looked like he'd got up the inside. It was a bit reactive to change directions like that, and that cost OS Degrees there, who had the momentum. Seemed a bit blocking there, but we'll see what's said about that afterwards. Certainly not a very robust defence, but Matusas is up into 5th position. Good to see Matusas running well here. And Fade back up to 6th. And there's a full safety car. There's a full safety car. Crikey. That was an emotional few laps. That's took a toll on quite a few drivers. Fence having an incident after the safety car restart. AJS Inden losing traction out of the final corner. Turn 19 and 18. That cost him time to other cars, and he just, with dirty tyres, hit the inside curb, not at full speed, turned it in too much and spun out. Looked to have done the right thing and got out of the way of everyone, but then Tempe crashed into the back of him or something. I don't know, maybe Tempe spun as well. It's really unfortunate. Really unfortunate. Riding on board, I didn't quite see the collision because of the angle we were looking at, but Fade is up in 6th position. And I wonder if anyone will dice it for a pair of softs, if they've got one left. Natural fear spread is quite high, even after only a few laps of racing. I'm sure AJ Sinden will keep us in the loop of what's going on. I never actually entered that. That's good. So let's have a look in the discussion, what's being said. And IBN saying you do have some terrible luck to AJ in the Discord. Chonk saying I gave place back to Ganja. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. It does look like, I don't know where Ganja is. Ganja maybe has pitted. I'm not sure what happened to Ganja there. But I'm having the worst race possible. That's Tempe saying he has the worst pace possible. That's not true. It's not George Russell at Singapore bad, is it? Yeah, look how bumpy this bloody pit lane is. There's like ramps at each stop. That's so strange. So Kev is going for a pair of softs. Quite a few cars with penalties. Strugs on the medium tyre. And these safety cars will help him because it will help keep his safety car alive. So I passed him on the exit at Douglas, and then he spun at Spoon Turn. That's sucks for him. P19 with a DT to P5. I'm happy with that. I have that penalty though, Lamau. Yeah, so what's the penalties? That's a good call. Let's have a look at the penalties. So Matusas has 6 seconds worth of penalties. All the cars around him only have 3 seconds worth of penalties. McLeod running well. He's got no penalties in 8th position, just behind his teammate Chonk. Joker, he's got no penalties, and the top 3, Strugs, Gaz MC and Bubble, but keeping it clean at the front. And HS in and out of this race, he'll be gutted, and rightly so. He's been good. Tempe being given some words of advice: just keep your head down, salvage what you can. 6 seconds worth of penalties, but I'm sure some more penalties will rack up. We have 14 laps worth of racing, 15 laps worth of racing left. Probably 14 laps by the time the safety car comes in. Has Kev spun it? Kev spun it. Under no pressure. So Kev has spun it. Good luck at your new job tomorrow, Kev. And Joker, he's in the 11th position. Good, no penalties. You know, remember how he got his one win at Monza? Just kept his nose clean. Less penalties than people around him. And watch people crash out the lead of the race. You don't know what's going to happen. Only 5 turns left at Monza. And Joker went from 5th to 1st. So, you do not know what's going to happen. Good move from Chonk to give the place back to Uganja. Listening along clearly. Appreciate it. Appreciate people listening along while they race. And Struggs has the lead of the race here. I think Kev may just join. Oh, do you know, it could be one of those dickhead ones where like the safety car comes in with like literally like no time for the safety car to come in. Kev doing his best to catch up here. I think he will catch up this lap, whether it's in time for the safety car to go in this lap. But let's switch back to tyre life. And we have 11 laps left. We need AWS graphics on command. Let me hit a button and get some AWS graphics up, right? Don't like them in real life because they're completely arbitrary and stupid, but the game has all the data there to understand. So Kev's going to rejoin the back. Chonk saying he has 5 laps of extra fuel, so lots of safety cars here. I think we're coming close to the safety car limit, but safety car could still come in this lap as Kev comes to the end of the sector. He's going to come in right at the end of here. I told you it was going to come in a really stupid position. Gives cars nearly no time to warm up, but at least Struggs gets on the power, and Gaz MC caught out by that. Blubber Bump close up behind. Good restart from Struggs despite the difficult circumstances, and Gaz MC does close up on the straight a little bit, but Blubber Bump in third position, and these hard tyres. Oh, there's Mr. Ballbagger. He's DNF'd. He's returned to the pits. So 13 laps, 14 laps left of running here, as Chonk has took a position through the S's, and Fade, does he lose a position? Blubber Bump, Struggs just pulls out that gap so well in the S's. Gaz MC was very good pace here, but he may end up in second position on the podium again. Good form from him. He could be one to watch in the future in this league. Blubber Bump in third position. OS Degrees coming up in fourth, and he needs to get past these cars and build a gap on the medium tyre, on the optimum tyre at this time. Should have a lot more speed than these 2 hard runners in front, and OS Degrees looking to cement himself in that third position and maybe reach out into second position. As things stand, Struggs will take the championship because he's finishing and Fade isn't winning. Basically, it's all, let alone Struggs winning, but all over the back of here. Blubber Bump gonna have to be on defensive. Let's see the EOS burn from both of them. It's happening, and he goes up the inside and he closes that down, but leaves a little bit more space this time around. And OS Degrees tries to go around the outside. Does he get the job done? He does get the job done. Oh, there's a bit of a contact there maybe, and maybe OS Degrees will just let him by with that, but I think, it's just 2 by 2 through the S's, and OS Degrees has decided to let him by with that contact. So fair racing there. We'll say not at the races there whatsoever. HPAM, never on this game, and beginning to dislike it more and more. That's not good to hear, Wolf. You win it for quite a long time through here, but there is Temp, who's spun again. Not having a great race today. He came on chat to say so, and he's at the back of the grid. We had 13 runners left in this as the fatigue begins to set in after this 100% race. And Fade takes Matusas. Matusas is going to try and send it around the outside. These two battle for the lead around Australia. Matusas just runs wide there, and Fade will be able to keep that position on the run up to 130R. But again, he's getting closer, and as soon as he gets on the brakes again, so Tempe saying it got spinned by Joker. Okay, clip it, let us know what happened. We're going to have a lot to unpick through here, aren't we? Matusas has spun. Matusas has spun. at the final corner, turn 19, and he crosses over the track, but there's an Alpine right at the back. That is unfortunate. He was battling hard with Fade, and he spins. Fade in 5th position. Now going after OS Degrees. Actually important to race OS Degrees because his 2nd place in the championship is still vulnerable from OS Degrees back. He's not too far back. You know, all eyes have been at the start, at the top of the championship, the race between Struggs and Fade. But Fade needs to ensure he scores some good points for these final 3 races, 4 races including this one, of the championship. We have Kota next week, and then we're off for 2 weeks before heading to Brazil for a sprint race, and then Abu Dhabi 2 weeks after that. We've got quite a few breaks baked into the season because of real world clashes. And Struggs could have it done the same day Verstappen gets his championship done. But thankfully it won't be Johnny Herbert telling him he's won the championship. It'll be me. Well, he'll probably put it down himself. Like. So Fade in 5th position. And actually OS Degrees and Blubber Bumper battling hard. OS Degrees has quite a fair few penalties, does he? He has 3 seconds worth of penalties, so he's going to need to get past Blubber Bump, build a gap to Blubber Bump, and try and get past after Gavin MC. But he's got DRS now, so he should get the job done. And it's been some wheel-to-wheel racing from these two. And OS Degrees finally gets the job done. About 10 laps after his first attempt. As Chonks back up to 6th position. And it's Fade who will be going past Blubber Bump next. Struggs just needs to finish ahead of Fade. And we don't even need to think about what happens with the championship other than that. But winning is certainly enough. And he's winning by quite a margin, 4.3 seconds to Gaz MC. And Fade looking to make up for his earlier mistake. So, with just under 10 laps of racing to go, Fade closes down on Blubber Bump, but Blubber Bump has DRS, but look at the pace difference between these two. And Blubber Bump doesn't have, if he can keep within range of OS Degrees, and OS Degrees has that 3-second penalty, so he would get 3rd place back. But OS Degrees looks like he's got better form on these medium tyres at this stage in the race. And as soon as the DRS toe has been broken, that will be a considerable amount of time that will be lost each lap. But those hards will start to come back at the mediums runners towards the end of this race. And 16 lap old mediums for OS Degrees. You'd expect OS Degrees to fall out of favour a little bit towards the end of the race on that compound. Similar to what happened last week at Singapore, Gaz MC almost getting batted by. Oh, and there's a safety car. There is a safety car. Who's out? Matusas is out. Matusas has crashed out of Degna too. Dem Turtles. So, oh, Struggs has gone into the pits, and he's got a 5-second speeding penalty. So Gaz MC also going into the pits, and he'll go onto a pair of softs. A few cars will run to the end here. I think Struggs, OS Degrees are going to hang out on a pair of mediums and try and go long. And oh, Gaz MC's been put onto an old pair of mediums. That's a disaster for him. That's an absolute disaster. He didn't change it to softs. Oh. Blubberbump through. Strugs on a pair of softs. He wants to take this win at the end. But Blubberbump doesn't have that 5-second penalty. So that 5-second penalty, that rash decision, that's not worked out for either of those two cars pitting. Yeah, I mean, if I'm 7th down, I'm pitting for softs. Leader of the race, he didn't need to risk it, did he? Gaz MC, he pitted for softs, but he put on mediums. Disastrous. Wearing kind of very nice, I do like his helmet, it's almost like Dago glow yellow. And I would say it's Hamilton-esque in a McLaren. I do like that. But cheers from DNF Purgatory. Yeah, what happened to you, Skull? So did you get rear ring damage? Why did he put on a pair of mediums? It must be a mistake. It must be a mistake. He certainly didn't think, because he ran really long on those mediums, right? Yeah, there is so many safety cars. It is ridiculous. I mean, it's just, the thing is, I'd put it on reduce, but reduce is too far the other way. OS Degrees says, here comes the choke of the season. Well, OS Degrees could get his first win here. He'd need to build that gap from Blubberbump. And Strugs did easily pass Blubberbump in the early stages of this race. Those soft tyres will be lovely, but Strugs has 5 seconds worth of penalties on his time. OS Degrees only with 3 seconds. And Blubberbump, if he can keep in the sniff here, he could be taking his opening wing. McLeod is up into 4th position. George up into 5th. He's been nowhere. I think he's got a few penalties to boot though. McLeod with no penalties though. Really proving that you've got to keep it clean, because you may just be in it right at the end. So George has 3 seconds worth of penalties, so apologies for that. Not many penalties at all. Gaz MC has pitted again to go onto the softs. OS Degrees could get his first win of the season, but he won't. There we are. Does that help, OS Degrees? I'm finally going to win something, you say. Yeah. Doubt. I don't know. Strugs will have insane pace on those softs. He's able to build a 5-second gap, right? But he has to get by those cars. He has to get by those cars in front. If he gets caught up 2-3 laps behind those cars in front, the softs will be past their best. So he has to get the job done. And he has to be aware right now, he'd be finishing behind Fade. Now Fade would have to somehow come out and win it, and Strugs would have to finish below 8th position. 8th or below for the championship to go to the next round. But Strugs decided, I want to win this. I want to excite this up. Went for the risky option, when actually, you know, he wants to take the race wins. But if he just wanted to wrap it up, you can see he's an absolute racer. If he just wanted to wrap this up, he could have just took whatever points he wanted at that point. You know what I mean? A pair of yellow tyres, a pair of medium tyres, the yellow striped on the wall tyres, would have got him to the end, and he would have done okay, I think. But he's decided he's not risking it. And, well, he is risking it, sorry. He is risking it for a biscuit, and that 5-second penalty is part of the reason why coming into the pits is so risky. If you misjudge your braking zone, it is so tricky at Suzuka to get on the brakes at the right time, kind of downwards, so you have to brake more than you expect into the pits and around the corner, kind of blind. It's really hard to judge, and I am being really safe and cautious. But OS Degrees has been up and down this field like a crazy man. 3 seconds worth of penalties, has a chance of winning this race. All my races go start from the back, end first, a lap at the back, go through the field, well into the points, spin on the last lap, 10 laps in DNF. Well, that sucks, but OS Degrees has won. Clear return to racing, and Blubberbump is going to be under pressure from Strugs there, because there was a little mistake through that corner. But Strugs, I don't think he's going to have the grip into turn 1 here, looking to the inside. And, oh, he's a bit twitchy there, and he just sends it in. Oh, avoiding contact. McLeod is keeping his nose clean. He's got no penalties. One of the ones that could get his first podium here. George just behind in 5th position. Fade in 6th. I wonder what tyres some of these cars are on. So everyone below 6th is on softs. And Strugs is also on a pair of softs. But Strugs trying to go around the outside of Blubberbump. And he does get it done. But he's got that 5-second penalty, so Blubberbump will look to stay with Struggs here, and OS Degrees has got the fight of his life now to get first position. He needs to keep Struggs behind and behind and behind and use everything he's got. Not use too much EOS out of the crucial positions. And he's burning EOS through there, and I just wouldn't do it. I'd just save it for those key moments. Down the straights, when I feel vulnerable, try and work it out, because the longer it takes Struggs to not get by, the lot harder it is to get by. You just want to strike while the iron is hot, get to the back of the rear wing, and overtake. But I'd be changed out to the straights, but OS Degrees is absolutely burning his EOS as Blubberbump moves into third position. But he also needs to be cautious that he needs to be building against 2 Blubber, and the gap has grown to about 2 seconds, but Struggs already right behind, and OS Degrees is going to have to burn the OS to keep Struggs behind here. And will OS Degrees go defensive to the inside? He doesn't. Struggs put it up the inside, and he deserves the space there. But, oh, he gets the move done. Now he needs to build a gap of 5 seconds. 2 the cars behind. Only 2 seconds to OS Degrees. So the Struggs going for the risky move at the end, and he may have just got away with it. OS Degrees up into second position. Still a good result. And he's falling behind. Yeah, he's just a sensation. He just puts the car in a position where people don't want to defend it, really. And knows where to race. Absolutely sensational stuff from Struggs there. And on the soft tyres, wreaking havoc. Fade is up into 4th position. And it's McLeod who's fallen backwards there. But McLeod, still without a penalty, as I get a big hiccup, may end up... may end up getting some places later on in the race if he can keep his nose clean and keep up with those soft runners. But it's going to be very, very tricky. There's been 2 ways to go. Some cars have gone soft, some cars haven't. Gaz MC, where can he get himself back up to? He's took McLeod. Gaz MC was running second place for so long, pitted with Struggs to take, the soft strategy. And you know what? If he'd gone on to softs, yeah, I'm gonna say it. If he'd have gone on softs, he was taking this win because he was right up with Struggs, and Struggs got that 5-second penalty. So Struggs would have to build a 5-second gap, and I just think it was unlikely with the pace differential between the two. So Struggs getting let off one, both making mistakes, and Gaz MC making the more crucial mistake by not changing his tyre to softs at the end. They're very unlucky, but let's see where he can charge back up to. OS Degrees already 2.7 seconds behind Struggs, and Fade 1 second behind. But where is the tyre? So let's see. Oh, I tell you what, there's a safety car. There is a safety car. This is going to make it so tricky, as we have another safety car. George has fallen well out of the top 5. He's in 12th position, and there's a safety car on the final few laps. Struggs' softs will be spent. OS Degrees has a chance here, because of the difference in penalties here. And let's see. Oh, this is going to go down to the line. We'll have 1 or 2 more laps of safety car, perhaps. So on lap 49, they'll come around on lap 50. Lap 51, it will come to the pits. They won't have DRS. None of them will have DRS. But that 5-second penalty has cost him dear here. Gaz MC did get McLeod, and has Gaz MC pitted for a new pair of tyres? I don't think he has. He's just fallen really far back. You can see the differential between those 2 tyres. The difference, the offset is huge. It's shades of Abu Dhabi. It could be a 2-lap shoot. I think the game in feature races is always to program to come in when it's 3 laps to go. So that would be on lap 51. It will come to the pits no matter what. Even if the cars haven't all bunched up. So, I mean, they've gone on to lap 50 now. They'll catch the safety car. Tempe, just clip it. I don't know what's gone on, but clip every instant from your race, get it submitted, and we'll pour over it. I think there's been a lot of crazy racing, let's say, in this lobby. I think the fatigue has really set in. So many safety cars, and somehow you got 9 seconds worth of penalties as well. But absolutely clip it, Tempe. Just some lobbies. I mean, my SRL-100 race felt similar to yours at this point, with safety car, just a few laps to go. Managed to climb back up in 6th position, but of course, every race is different. It's just just some races just don't go your way. You just seem to fall into incidents, and especially when you're not at the sharper end of the race. Japan is one of the trickiest circuits on the calendar. George, I think, has maybe gone into the pits again, has he? No, he hasn't gone into the pits, but I think it will definitely be in next lap. It may be in this lap, who knows. But OS Degrees, if things finish right now, OS Degrees will take the win because of that different penalty that Struggs has. He has the 5-second penalty. Now that could be cleared if he went into pits, but it's too late to pit. That would send him well down the order. And Fade has worked himself back up into 3rd position here. Now Fade is on the soft tyre, and really the dangerous one is Fade. If Fade can get OS Degrees off the line, then Fade can take the win in this race. Now Struggs would love to win on the top stop of the podium, but he only needs to finish in the high up in the points for to not matter where Fade is going. So if Struggs was second to Fade, that would be fine. So it's not going to come in this lap safety car, but it will come in the lap after for certain, because the game is programmed to only allow 2 full laps of running right at the end. And as we come to a long stretch of races, we just have Kota next weekend, and then we've got 2 weeks off. Struggs could clinch the championship here. Chonk saying, if I can appeal my penalty, I'm also in contention for this win. You may be able to appeal your penalty. So we'll see. It could be all topsy-turvy. But I certainly feel like Struggs will be taking the championship here unless something drastic happens. And we have just 2 laps of racing after this one. It's been a long one, 53 laps of Japan. Probably quite a few people, especially people in the UK may have been up all day since 6 a.m. in the morning to start the race at 8 p.m. race time. And I know I certainly had a nap in the afternoon. There's no way I was making it all the way through. But Struggs now has to have a perfect restart and put the hammer down. OS Degrees could win this. Fade could win this. Blubber Bump could certainly win this. He just needs to keep within 5 seconds. Struggs needs to build a gap of 5 seconds to Blubber Bump and not be held up too much by the cars in front. Blubber Bump could be taking the lead of this race through penalties, and we'll just have to keep an eye on that. But Chonk in 5th position, he could be taking it. Captain Rainbow Fox could be taking it. Let's not forget. But Struggs, let's ride on board with our championship leader in these final crucial stages of the race. He could take the championship by finishing this high up in the points. Anywhere in the top 8, top 7 will do him, no matter where Fade finishes. The safety car comes in really late, and he puts the foot down as OS Degrees is caught napping, and Fade may go through here from the start of the race. Fade may have a look at it. Let's have a look. Does he want to go for a move? He gets so close, but Struggs has 2 laps to open up a 5-second gap on Blubber Bump, a 2-second gap on these 2 cars behind, and Fade is desperate to get by because he knows that. He knows that his chance of winning is soon, and on these medium tyres, OS Degrees is like death warmed up. Blubber Bump is doing enough. Yeah, it must be appealing a track limits penalty, which you can do under certain circumstances. But yeah, we'll see. Chonk, he's fallen down the order to Gaz MC. So Gaz MC could be in a position to take the win still. Who knows? But the gap has grown. Let's get gap to leader up, because that's going to be absolutely crucial. Gap to leader is going to be crucial. So Gaz MC currently could be taking 2nd place. Blubber Bump would be taking 1st place as things stand on the road. But Blubber Bump is on hards. Oh, he's on painful hards. And I think Gaz MC is probably a chance to take a 1st place. Oh, no, Degrees just makes a slight twitch. And that, oh, this must be so painful for Fade. So painful. He knows he's got the pace over OS Degrees. OS Degrees is just clinging on for everything he's got, and he's looked up the inside of 130R. So committed to it. And he'll try and go the long way around the outside at Casio, and he gets the job done. Superb overtake from Fade. Absolutely brilliant through 130R and into Casio. Superb racing. OS Degrees now looking backwards at Blubberbump, and Blubberbump's being slowed down by OS Degrees, I think, here a little bit. But Gaz MC and Blubberbump are taking first and second as it stands on the road. Fade needs to close down another 6/10 to actually close this one down. I have no idea the way this is going, but Gaz MC is slowly falling behind. He needed to get by, and he's got 4.5 seconds now. Blubberbump is 4.1 seconds. Struggs may just do enough to win this, but Fade. Oh, and Chonk's out of race. Chonk's out of race. There's a crash for Chonk. There is a crash for Chonk. Fade is a second out of winning this race. OS Degrees, he's in third position, but he may be falling back further, maybe not on the podium here. Gaz MC's just fallen out of that 5-second window. Blubberbump is just fallen outside the 5-second window as well. So, Struggs looks to have just done enough here. Oh, lordy, it's tight. Closes down a little bit. Maybe those softs are going to start to go off here. Going to be such supreme traction out the final few corners. Blubberbump, I don't know if he fully realises it, but he's in a race to take this title. I think he's just been slowed down by OS Degrees. Not to take the title, but to take the win. But Struggs will be taking the title today. There's no doubt about it. So congratulations to Struggs on taking the title, unless he has a crazy spin here. But Struggs takes the championship, and does he take the race win? It's so tight. 6/10 is the difference between the two, and Struggs takes the championship's win. He gets a 5-second penalty, unserved, and Blubberbump up into second. He just gets the race win, Struggs. Supreme pace over those final 2 laps to close down, and that's the way to win your first SRL-100 title. Congratulations to our first place finisher, the Williams of Struggs. He's won the Drivers' Championship as well, and he's run the race with a risky strategy. Oh, I'm out of breath. That was insane stuff. Trying to catch up with that, trying to work out who's going to win. But I think Blubberbump just fell behind. It was only 6/10, and no wonder if OS Degrees wasn't in that sandwich, Blubberbump could have got his first win. But second place for Blubberbump in only his first few races in the SRL-100. That's great stuff. Congratulations to Struggs on the championship. You've absolutely smashed it, pal, all year long. And we'll try and get him into the commentary booth. Let me just send in a message to our championship winner and our race winner. Lordy, that was crazy. That was absolutely wild. So we have. Let's disable the webcam, get these results down. That's the most important thing at this point in time. So, Struggs takes the lead of the race despite that, despite the win and the championship, despite that 5-second penalty. Gaz MC gets back onto the podium. Blubberbump also onto second place of the podium. And I'll quickly go through the race director and just grab all of this stuff, because it's all important to recording the results of the race. And if I just scroll through the incidents, and I try and scroll through the pits as well, so it's there. Excellent. Right, okay, I've got a record of that now. Excellent. So let's move. Let's try and do this again. So move to commentary. It's crashing out. Great. Right, okay. I'm going to tell him to join Mercedes, because I really want to talk to him. At Levi.
Will this work, Crab?
Yeah, let's do this. Stay in Mercedes.
Yep.
Congratulations! The SRL-100 Championship Season 2. You've wrapped it up just there with an absolutely crazy win.
Oh my god, I'm shaking, man. Like, don't do that to me, safety car. Oh my god, I choked my speeding in the pit lane. Oh my god.
Yeah. So, what did you feel like when you got that 5-second penalty? Did you realise straight away that GazMC had gone onto the mediums?
No, I was more worried about the cars in front because I know the softs. Obviously, it makes you much faster in Sector 1, but down the straights doesn't make you any quicker apart from the exit. So, and with DRS not being activated, but that second safety car nearly my soul left my body when that last safety car came out. I was like, not like this, not like this. In my head, I just said, this is being manipulated, man.
I think you cut it fine. I think Blubber Bump. I think if you could have got past OS Degrees, I think you could have closed that gap down. I think also Fade was close to getting OS Degrees into turn 1 So I think either of those things happened, you would have had difficulty growing that gap 5 seconds and 2 seconds.
Yeah,
been to
it was
Fade,
2 qualifying laps at the end, right?
You did enough, and you got fastest lap too, and you took the championship. So you must be happy.
For all of it. Relief for all of it. The championship's over. I don't have to worry about it. The race is over. I don't have to worry about it. The stress levels then were so high that I'm just glad it's over. Like, obviously the start really didn't go well for me in the race. Just losing so many positions. So all the way through to the field, all the way to the front, which I was pretty happy about. And then I nearly went and ballsed it up by speeding in the pit lane. I couldn't believe I did that. I was just like, all the race has been done, apart from the start, which went a bit skew-if, was done perfectly. And then just to screw up there, I was like, I probably shouldn't have boxed the softs. Me and Fade discussed it, and he was like, box, box, box. And I was like, I'll box. Like, I didn't even think about it. It was a last-minute decision. Yeah. Because the safety car was right, by the pit lane. So I had to, it was do or die. So I went for it. And I think if I didn't get the penalty, then it would have been pretty plain sailing because the softs are so quick at the end. But with that penalty, it just made it... I'm sure it made it exciting to watch, right? I mean, it made for a really good ending.
It spiced it up greatly, to be honest. If you'd gone on softs, you would have got... Well, you got by in like a lap and a half, didn't you? Yeah. So you would have got by in a lap and a half and you would have cruised to win. But you did it the hard way. And it seems like it was at least a bit fun.
Oh, it was... very stressful, very stressful. What was I going to say? When I got that penalty and the safety car came out, the last one, I put in the Discord league chat. I was like, bullshit, because I was like, man, I can't see him on DNF. It just feels like the gods are against me. But I don't know what happened. Do you know what happened to cause it?
What, that final safety car? I have no idea.
It was just
a lot of safety cars there, where like someone maybe spun and lost a wing. And but the thing is, if we put it on virtual, it's like people will crash out and be like on the exit of Dunlop Curve, and people will just crash into them. It's just there's no middle ground. It's so frustrating.
There was a few incidents like I think a Haas went into the wall in front of me at the I can't remember which turn. The end of the SS as you go up the hill.
Dunlop
that
Curve.
Turn. Yeah, that's the one.
7.
Yep. I think it was Wall went into the wall and he had a lot of damage. And I was like to Fate, I said, well, that'd probably be a safety car because he was on old softs at the time and hoping for one. And it wasn't. And then, I don't know, man. Like, it's just crazy.
Too inconsistent, isn't it? It's too inconsistent.
Yeah, but that's not anyone here's fault. That's just the way the game works, right? I mean, hopefully that can be fixed at some point. But I'm just glad it's done, Champ, right? Constructors and
double champions. Double champions. So, well done. Final question, I guess, is who's your driver of the day?
Oh,
you can give it to yourself.
I want to give it to Fade because he had actually I don't know, Fade or Blubber Bump, both of those two. I think Gaz had a solid drive as well. Maybe I'm a bit biased with the start.
The turn one. We haven't spoke about turn one.
Oh
we haven't spoke about that.
Yeah, I went a bit wide, but I felt like I rejoined without hitting anybody, and I really just was on the curb, so I didn't really rejoin. I was still on the track, and I felt I got forced wide. I mean, I'll have to see his point of view because I've only got my one. But I felt I was forced wide, but because obviously at the start the whole field is so bunched up, I can't rejoin until everyone goes. So I lost so many positions, but I just got my head down and thought, look, it's the start of the race. There's going to be a lot of safety cars. I didn't know how many, but there's going to be a lot of them. And
that could be the most we've ever had.
And I knew that my pace around Suzuka was pretty solid. So you got the race that you wanted from me, right? Car through the field and nail biting end. That's because it's always Fade who's involved in all those battles, right? It's usually I don't in it. So to see both of us having a, but
no,
yeah,
it was really good to commentate, and you fully deserving of the
Fade
title.
or Blubber Bump as Fade.
So Fade and Blubber Bump.
Because Fade he went through a lot of adversity to finish as high as he did, I think, and I was really impressed. And Blubber Bump because he didn't get any penalties, he had a cool, calm race. He stuck to the end on those tyres, and it paid dividends for him. You know, he finished P2, right?
Yeah, Blubber Bump to P2, GazMT at P3.
There you go then, yeah. So crazy, yeah. Honestly, and I just want to thank everyone who helps, run the league, stewards, obviously you and the admin team, everyone. It's all well run. We've had good, clean racing for the most part. Yeah, of course, and it's just I've had a really great time. So looking forward to the future.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we all appreciate it. It's a big team effort. You're part of the stewarding team, of course, and a fantastic addition to it. So
try to do my best.
Yeah, a big thank you to everyone who runs the league, and thanks for the highlight on that, Strugs. But yeah, congratulations. Yeah, go and have a beer or something.
I might just do
to celebrate. Yeah, and congratulations.
See you later, bro.
So that wraps up coverage for round 11 of the SRL-100. And this has been a Syndicate Racing League production. Catch us next time at COTA next week. Same time, SRL-50 also will be streamed from people's channels. And thank you very much. See you next time.